There are 144 years of history, heritage and huge rivalries in the Irish Cup. First played in 1880, it's the fourth oldest national cup competition in the world. And today, this famous trophy will be presented to either Linfield or Cliftonville. Linfield are gunning for their 45th success. 45 years ago is the last time Cliftonville got their hands on this piece of silverware. And they've been in a handful of finals since.
Splendid goal by Peter Dornan. Good overhead, Pat. 1-1. Sean Garrett, 2-0. Mike Adair through, and that's 2-1. What a marvellous goal by Michael Adair. Using it for Rafferty, 3-1. Shouldered out. Will Tony Bell fix it? Yes!
Cup winners. Dixon, what a finish. Still Waterworth, no, it's 3-1. Noah Bradley wins the cup for Coleraine.
Well, this cup final is a sellout. 15,000 fans who will get the opportunity to celebrate today. Over the next couple of hours, we'll find out, will it be Linfield, the competition's most successful team, or Cliftonville, who contested the first final ever staged. The Clearer Water Irish Cup Decider is live here on BBC Two and across the UK on the BBC iPlayer. Kick-off is 2:30. The teams arrive here at the National Stadium, suited and booted for this very special occasion in Irish football. Cliftonville are managed by Jim Magilton. The club has won the Irish Cup 8 times previously, but the last occasion was back in 1979. Can the class of 2024 put their names into the history books? Linfield have triumphed 44 times in the competition. They're managed by David Healy, a man who knows all about the big occasion as Northern Ireland's international record goal scorer. It's familiar territory for the Linfield players. This is their home ground. But for both sides, it's a first for 90 years. That's the last time Linfield and Cliftonville met in the Irish Cup final. Well, it's a muggy, drizzly day in Belfast, but all roads lead to Windsor Park for this showpiece occasion of the Northern Ireland football calendar. Delighted you could join us for what we hope is going to be a thrilling Saturday afternoon. Stephen Cregan and David Jeffrey will be bringing the expert analysis today. 14 cup final appearances as a player and a manager between you. All for you, David.
For myself, Stephen.
That's a nice way to start.
Simply because this man played at a much higher level. Much higher level.
So, Stephen, what are you expecting from this unique occasion this afternoon?
I'm not so sure, because I think the game will go one of two ways. It's either going to be super cagey, where the teams will be cautious, they'll be a little bit wary, or it's going to be open and they're both going to go after the game. I'm hoping it's going to be the second one, because I think both teams aesthetically are good to watch. They've got good attacking players, they've got pace in the team, they've got experience, they've got creativity, goals. Everything you want in a football team, both of these sides have it. I think that's what makes it even more intriguing. That's why it's hard to call a winner, because both sides will really fancy their chances. But I think the players warming up behind us will be delighted to be on the pitch. Sometimes in cup final week, as I'm sure as a manager, certainly as a player in the cup finals I played in, it can be a long week. There's a lot of distractions, and your mind can be taken away from actually what's at the end of it. You've got tickets to sort out, you've got suits, you've got press, you've got media, you've got predictions. There's a lot of talking to be done where you just want to get your boots on. You want to get on the grass, you want to smell that grass and sense the atmosphere. And that's where the players will be at this moment in time.
David, you won 7 Irish Cup finals. What is the secret to success and enjoying today?
Well, the first thing, Stephen, you will only fully enjoy today if you win it. Because I was blessed, along with Brian McLaughlin, we won the Irish Cup, as you said, seven times. But I've also tasted defeat 7 times, and one of those was against Crusaders a couple of years back, and that is tough. And it's great to be there, it's great to get there, it's great to be part of the occasion, but ultimately, over the piece, you only fully enjoy the day if you're victorious. Now, how do you enjoy the day? It's a mindset. You sort of think, well, how many times am I going to get here again? You know, you take it as if it's your first, your last, and your only one. And that's how you approach it. That's how I approached it as a manager, and that's how players, I think, should approach it. Today will be all about those players who can handle the occasion. This is the biggest attendance since the Linfield Glentoran Irish Cup away back in 2001, I think it was. So massive crowd's going to be here. Atmosphere is going to be electric. Everybody's going to be in pins. Everyone is going to be down to win. But it's those players who have the mental capacity to cope with the occasion and then go and play to their best.
Who is the pressure on more today, do you think? Is it Cliftonville, who described this as the Holy Grail? They want to win the Irish Cup because they haven't won it since '79. Or Linfield, perhaps, who didn't win the league this year and feel that they perhaps will be able to soften the blow, I suppose, with a cup?
With the greatest respect, I think that there's a greater pressure on Linfield, and in particular David Healy. Jim Magilton has come in and done an absolutely fabulous job. So regardless of how today goes, they've already qualified for Europe. They've got into an Irish Cup final. They've done phenomenally well. That's not going to say that their desire will be any less. Because of Linfield's success and demands and expectations, the pressure then will fall on David. OK, as the song goes, if we don't win the league, the Irish Cup will do. You know, so that is the pressure that's on today. In terms of the Cliftonville lads, but it's been rammed down their throats like about 1979. Like,
almost feels like it's been a burden.
Dear love them.
Feels like it's been a burden to them, so they'll want that away from them so they can actually start moving forward. Because until they cross the line and win that cup, it's always going to be mentioned. Every interview when it comes to an Irish Cup game, 79, 79. And I'm sure the boys from 79 would love this group to go and win it to relieve all that.
Yeah, well, the two managers, time to hear from them. They are obviously very well-known figures in local football, former Northern Ireland international teammates. They are friends, but today they're foes.
What are we doing? Just get on with it. Hurry up.
We've got previous in terms of knowing each other for the length of time that we have since we were first introduced into the international setup. So I'm sure I don't speak just for myself. There's huge mutual respect between each other in terms of achievements as player and now sort of coach and manager.
What a moment for Jim Magilton of Oxford.
Here's Davis. It's a good ball.
On his debut, a penalty for Northern Ireland.
Flag stays down.
He's done it.
Healy! Oh! What a moment for Northern Ireland! What a moment for Windsor Park!
I'd heard so much about him. Sammy McIlroy was championing his case for so long, and there was this kid at Manchester United that everyone was talking about, and a goal scorer. And at the time, obviously, Northern Ireland were crying out for goal scorers.
Chance to get facing goal and have a run and have a go!
I think it's always been a Northern Ireland thing. Again, we're always hugely proud of our own. I was fully aware, as I say, of Jim the player, being at Ipswich and the career that he's had, and it gives you an appetite. It gives you a hunger then to sort of think, well, hopefully one day, I would love that to be me. He did try and sign me. He turned me down at the last minute. I was actually I was actually on the verge of when he was manager at Ipswich.
I remember it well because it was on the eve of the Spain game and he was running out of the tunnel. And I said to him, I need a centre forward. Do you know any? And when he scored the third goal against Spain...
Coming off, or is he going to go with three forwards? Here's Healy. He's looking for three goals. He's got them! What a finish! What a night!
He ran over the television tower at the time where we were working for BBC. And he kind of, I think he gave me a rude gesture.
No, I didn't. I didn't. I just pointed up, like something like that there.
So he scored three against Spain.
But he did. He turned me down, which was disappointing at the time, because I thought, I was going to reignite my club career.
Well, you were far too much money, wee man.
That's what it was. It certainly wasn't money at the time. It's not about, myself or Jim on cup final day. It's about the squad of players that we have, the individual bits of brilliance that somebody may bring to the cup final. I'm desperate to win, as is Jim, and it'll be won by hopefully a little bit of magic from a Linfield player when the final comes.
Well, obviously I want Cliftonville to win the game, and we know we're coming up against a fantastic team. We have a fantastic manager and coaching staff, so winning any cup final is a huge challenge, but it's one to relish. Well done, wee man.
Stephen, you played obviously both with Jim and David, and I know David said it's not about them today, but they are bringing another special dimension to this cup final, aren't they?
Well, they are, because they have profile outside of Northern Ireland, which hopefully means they're going to grab the attention of other people to come and watch and showcase our national cup final. They couldn't be polar opposite in personality. When I went into the squad, David was very quiet. Jim, as you know, is the life and soul of the party. You know when Jim's in. When David comes in, you're not so sure, but he's quiet. But in saying that, they're both
Diplomat of the year.
they are both fiercely competitive. They will both be desperate to win for their club. They're passionate about their football. Jim's out of the game for far too long. David has made great strides in the game. So that just adds another little dimension to what we hope will be a classical game.
And David, when Jim Magilton got the Cliftonville job at the start of this season, it didn't actually go down very well with the fans. But my goodness, what he has done to turn them around, bringing a vast experience of playing and managerial experience with him.
Stephen, what Jim has achieved this year has been remarkable. And when I think of some of the nonsense that was talked about prior to his appointment, him and Jared Little, I thought, do these people really understand who they're turning down? David, just to go back to the point David said, that it's not about either he or Jim, I'm immensely proud that our local game have got two players of such standing. Everyone knows about David being the record goal scorer for Northern Ireland, but I think there's a forgotten appreciation of just how good a player that Jim was. So this, the pair of them have done phenomenally well this season, but Jim, to do what he has done with the group that he has had, and particularly around, when he lost Turner and he lost Christopher Gallagher, he galvanised his team. Okay, they ran out of legs in the league chase, but they've got to a final after a fantastic performance against Larne.
How much of an advantage is it to Linfield that they have David Healy, a local manager who has brought success before, 12 trophies in 9 years, 2 Irish Cup successes as well?
Well, they will hope that David can tap into that experience. And David beside me will tell you that the longer you go as a manager and the more successful you are, you're always learning, you're always wondering what you see you can do different. So David's had that experience of doing it and winning. He knows the message, he knows how the week will be for the players, he knows how to calm them down, not to get them too overhyped, don't be too over-exuberant, get into the game. We all want to have passion and energy at the start of the game, but over-exuberance can put you in a little bit of trouble. So I think David Healy can relay that to his players. A lot of his players have been with him for a long time and they've won trophies themselves. So he won't have had an awful lot to say this week. The players know themselves what's on the horizon for them. So that experience may be the age when it comes to Jim. Jim hasn't managed in cup finals and he's got a squad that's a little bit more inexperienced. So,
Steve,
but his road, I was just going to say, David, the Cliftonville's road to the final has been impressive. They've beaten 3 Premiership teams on the way here.
They have laid a marker down, and that's why when you look at that run, you think, well, surely having done all of the hard work, come today, they will finish that off. And yet I remember in my playing days when we played Coleraine and Glenavon, and I think it was maybe Glentoran, and got put out in a semi-final, when we thought we were going to go the whole way. So not necessarily the run to the final will guarantee you anything. There's maybe not even a suggestion as how you will go about it. But just to jump back, Stephen, about the experience you get, you actually learn how to manage yourself because you realise the impact you have on everybody around you, whether it's your players, your coaching staff or support staff. So that's the thing that David will have, maybe over the piece, in terms of the build-up. How should I manage myself? Because I know how I impact on others.
And Stephen, as David said, the roads to the final don't really matter. It doesn't really matter that Linfield beat Glentoran in the semi-final. It's all about today.
The stats of this season, goals for, goals against, games won, assists, nothing at all. This is a standalone game where you're trying to get the best out of yourself first and foremost, and as a group of players you want to be difficult to play against. You're then looking for that spark and that little bit of inspiration who can do something different. But everything that's gone before is completely irrelevant. Other people will look into it, that's for us to delve into and talk about and try and predict. This is a single standout game. The players have to go and manage themselves. And I said earlier on about being passionate and being up for the game, but you have to have a calmness and your temperament has to be right. Linfield players have been here before, Cliftonville players haven't, so it's going to be interesting to see how they manage themselves.
But they have 2 very passionate brothers in their starting team today, the Hale brothers. Just how influential can they be today? And I suppose just how big a day is it for their family?
Well, it's huge because of the Cliftonville supporters. So that adds that extra little bit of emotion where you have to try and manage yourself. Both of them are very passionate, both of them smashing football players. I think Jim Magilton has made them better in some aspects. Rory Hale is the attacking midfield player. Ronan is the one that gets all the goals, but I think him missing the early part of the season, coming back in, getting himself plenty of goals, he's got energy, he's got pace, he's got a real goal-scoring instinct. At times, he can get a bit over-exuberant and he can try and influence things that he can't control, referees, so don't focus on that. Keep your sole focus on the game.
One short of 50 club goals as well. He's a goal scorer.
He'll be a real threat this afternoon to Linfield. And Rory, on the other hand, I think Jim has made him more disciplined. You know, Rory previously has probably felt by running all over the pitch, I'm trying to help my team. This year he's been a lot more structured. I think 12 goals and 17 assists is a brilliant return for an attacking midfield player. So that's Jim Magilton's influence on, and Jim's fingerprints on both of these players. So huge for them today. Both, as I said, passionate Cliftonville fans and will want to go and win this competition. So they will have to be kept quiet.
And of course, on the Cliftonville bench today, David, they have the all-time top goal scorer at the club, Joe Gormley, 271 goals in 482 appearances, 15 hat-tricks. What a player to be able to introduce at an important time in the game.
Stephen Joseph is an amazing young man. He's a credit to his family, he's a credit to his community, and he's a credit to his football club. Brendan Crossan did a fantastic piece on Joseph in the Irish News at the tail end of last week, and such an insight. This is a young man who is so modest, and yet when you look at his record, great story about how he tried football across the water, didn't fancy it, come back home to his family, and how he has flourished. If he comes onto the pitch today, what an option he is. Don't bet against him scoring. And for him, if Cliftonville are successful today, that would cap off a wonderful career. I'm not saying that he's going to retire just yet, but that would be a fantastic way for him to really hit the heights.
I think he'll be looking for another contract, no doubt about that. Time to hear from the Linfield captain. Jimmy Mulgrew is trying to win an 8th Irish Cup today. He's talking to Nicola McCarthy.
You've been here 8 times before, Jimmy. Do they mean as much?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. This is what we play football for. You never get fed up with being involved in days like this. And again, this is why we're at Linfield and what we're expected. We're expected to be here in days like this.
What are you expecting from Cliftonville today?
A really, really difficult game. We've obviously played against each other a number of times this year, and they've been extremely difficult. So we expect no different. You know, coming here today, obviously a big spectacle for both teams, both clubs, and you know, we should hopefully feel confident within ourselves and know obviously the threats that Cliftonville have, because they've been fantastic this year under Jim. And he's done a fantastic job, and I'm sure that they're as desperate as us to be winners.
Well, Jimmy Mulgrew starting for Linfield today, as is this man, Kyle McLean. David, 25 years of age, and he's the player of the year. Being touted as the new Jimmy Mulgrew. Kyle is an outstanding player. His game has grown and grown. Originally started, you know, playing up front, but has a great awareness. He really has blossomed. When you think of that unbelievable strike in the semi-final against Glentoran, what a finish! So he really is a young man who is stepping up to the plate. And a lot of people would say, well, what are Linfield going to do when Jimmy eventually decides to hang up the boots? Well, I think they've now found their answer in Cal McLean, and I couldn't give him any greater praise. And of course, Chris Shields brings so much experience to this Linfield side this afternoon too, Stephen, doesn't he?
Well, David will tell you himself, it's vital that you have leaders on the pitch who can manage the game and manage situations. And he's been through it so many times. Jimmy Mulgrew's been through it so many times. Kirk Miller's been through it so many times. So that will give David a lot of comfort, knowing that whether the game's going for you and you're dominating, or whether you're under pressure, you've guys on the pitch who can manage the game and manage players round about them. So he's going to be crucial. He's playing possibly at left centre half. I think he's better as a holding midfield player, but it just shows you his versatility, and he still has a massive influence on Linfield. Now, we mentioned Cliftonville obviously had the experience on their bench, Joe Gormley. Linfield on their bench have got a young man aged 16 who has been sensational this season, Braden Graham. Absolutely phenomenal. He really is a special talent, a most modest young man. But there's been no surprise that David has brought him in incrementally and for greater parts. My opinion today was I was
slightly surprised that he maybe didn't start because of how well he has played in these last number of games. And a day like today wouldn't faze him. But I see the logic behind David in terms of young McKee starting and Braden maybe being a better option coming off the bench. But he's done phenomenally well. We'll not see him here next year. He's on his way to Everton. But what a way and what a day to finish off prior to starting a career in England.
And Stephen, as the fans await the arrival of the teams, just one more question on Braden Graham. He plays with a real fearless approach, doesn't he? And he'll be a great player to bring on at some stage as well.
I have to say, I'm disappointed he's not playing because he's excitable. He gets people off their seats, maybe not the Cliftonville fans, but he gets the neutral or the Linfield fans off their seats. He's got energy, he's got appetite, he's got real desire. He plays with the freedom. He's fearless when he plays, and that's what we want to see in football. But I think there's enough talent in this pitch this afternoon to get us excited.
We did want to hear from a Cliftonville player as well, but they understandably declined that opportunity. Obviously, Jimmy Mulgrew's an experienced campaigner. He knows how to handle finals. It perhaps just gives you an insight into how much Cliftonville want to win this final today. The Reds have only beaten the Blues once in the last 16 games. Does that matter at all today when it's an occasion like this, or not?
In a one-off game, it shouldn't really. Yet if you were, in my mind today, I'm looking even at the last 4 games where Cliftonville have been beaten 3 times and drawn once, and you're thinking, well, if you go by performance, then you would see Linfield winning today. But for some reason, I think it's going to be closer than people would expect. So regardless of what has gone on before today is very much, as Stephen said earlier, this is a one-off. This is a one-off. Nothing will matter. What has gone previously doesn't matter a toot, not in any way, shape or form.
But Cliftonville are up against a team that have only lost 2 of their last 13 Irish Cup final appearances. This is a Linfield team that knows how to win.
I couldn't agree more. But I said the Cliftonville players have had it rammed down their throat this season that it's been 45 years. So there'll be a hunger and a desire and a real appetite amongst that group of players to say, let's start creating history. Let's write our own history. There's an opportunity for someone in red today to have their name ingrained in the history of Cliftonville Football Club. And you look around your dressing room and you think, if it's not going to be one of them, make sure it's me.
And how much pressure does the big crowd here bring today, David? Because there is so much at stake. The place is sold out. It's the biggest number of fans these players will have played in front of.
There will be an immense amount of pressure. An immense amount of pressure, but I'll take you back to what I said right at the top of the programme, Stephen, in terms of those players who will do well today. It is those who emotionally and mentally can handle the pressure of expectation from their own set of supporters, and who can try and compartmentalise, if you like, put all of that away. I'm here to play a game of football. I get the occasion right, fine. I've dealt with that. I'm now, and it's that focus. I'm now going out to give of my best, to do my best, and to make sure that come the end of the day, I am picking up an Irish Cup winner's medal.
How do you see this unfolding, Stephen?
I think we could be in this for the long haul. I genuinely believe this could go to penalty kicks. There's so little between the teams, so many good players for both sides. It's going to take a moment of inspiration. Otherwise, we're going to be here for 120 minutes plus.
David, what do you reckon today?
I made one prediction this week that I wouldn't be surprised if it was 3 each, and it goes to penalties, such as the goal-scoring prowess of both teams, and also defensively, neither have been overly impressive this year. For me, Linfield to win.
OK, we shall see how it unfolds. There is the possibility, as Stephen said, of extra time and penalties today. With this match being played to a finish, we will be with you every step of the way. It's a colourful carnival occasion, albeit flares are banned and will bring penalties in the future for both clubs. But let's not let that detract from what's going to be a wonderful occasion today in the company of our match commentators, Paul Lehman, who won 4 Irish Cups with Glentoran, and Thomas Kane.
Thank you very much, Stephen. Windsor Park is buzzing. It's the biggest crowd at a domestic game in a generation. The oldest club in the country taking on the most successful. Red against blue. David Healy, his daughter Tallulah is a mascot today. Oscar Campbell amongst the mascots for Cliftonville. So much has been said before this game. This is what it looks like from above. It feels like a landmark occasion for the local game. You have to go all the way back to 1979 for a crowd as large as this for the decider. Conrad Kirkwood, the IFA president, shaking hands with the players who are sure to be nervous. We've heard from the managers already. Jim Magilton smiling with pride at this stage. It's already been a good day for Magilton. His former club, Ipswich Town, have made it through to the Premier League. David Healy has been here before. He's experienced the highs and lows of Cup final day. Will it be Irish Cup number 45 for Linfield, or the end of 45 years of hurt for Cliftonville? We pause now for the national anthem. A chance for these players to become heroes. Let's look at the two lineups. Good sportsmanship between the two squads. A healthy rivalry between these two clubs. Let's now look at the lineup, starting with Cliftonville. Johnny Addis is a winner's medal as a late substitute for Glentoran 9 years ago. The Heel brothers both won this competition with Crusaders in 2019, but neither played in the decider. It's Conor Pepper's 30th birthday today. He was a winner with Linfield under David Healy in 2021. Chris Johns has won the Irish Cup with both Coleraine and Linfield. It's a record equalling 9th final at this club for Jamie Mulgrew. He already has 7 winners' medals. Miller and Cooper have enjoyed 2 wins apiece. Our match referee taking charge of this one is Jamie Robinson. Ronan Hale with his skipper's armband on. A well-known name in local football here. Mulgrew has seen it before, he's done it before, and he has the medals to show for it. Paul Lehman, what are these moments like as a player? You've been here before, you've won it on 3 occasions.
Yeah, they're special moments, Thomas. You know, the big crowd, the colour, the occasion. The atmosphere is absolutely electric in here, but the formalities are now over, and the players will be glad when the first whistle is blown and the game begins, because there's been a lot of build-up to this game, but you just want to get on with the game. And on days like these, yes, we talk about the occasion, the colour, the atmosphere, but it's all about winning on days like these. And you know, it's who can cope with that, can cope with the occasion better, probably come out winners.
It's hard not to get excited about what's to come.
Yeah, listen, you and I have done some of the games, Linfield against Cliftonville, and league games this season have been cracking games. I'm expecting another great game here today. 2 evenly matched teams, big crowds behind them, with the blue ribbon trophy at stake. It's all to play for, and you know, I think both teams will just go for it.
Will nerves be a factor early on?
Yeah, nerves are always going to be a factor. There's a lot of young players playing. There's also a lot of experienced players. You mentioned Johnny Addis, you know, in the back, in the heart of the defence there for Cliftonville, with 2 young players either side of him. So those experienced players are going to be key, because those younger players will probably feel the nerves a little bit more.
What will have been in the message in the 2 dressing rooms going into it?
Listen, it's, you know, don't be overawed by the occasion.
play the game, not the occasion. I know the guys said that in the build-up there too. That's a key message that will come from the managers. I'm sure they've been working on their tactics and their formations and how they're going to play all week in training. It's just about executing that on the day and not letting those nerves get the better of you.
The league is all about consistency. The cup is on the day. Test early on for Shea Kearney, a breakout star for Cliftonville this season. Joel Cooper has won it with both Linfield and Glenavon, playing in that wing-back role again this afternoon. McGee only joined the club in January. Back to Cooper, who can't get his cross in.
You mentioned Joel Cooper there playing in the left wing-back role and Kirk Miller in the right wing-back role. What they'll do is they'll give him a real attacking threat in that position, real energy up and down the flanks. And McGee has moved into a more central position for Linfield. And you'll see him going up against Rory Hale, who's the key man for Cliftonville.
What do you make of the two lineups, in particular, probably the decision of Linfield not to start Braden Graham, the really exciting 16-year-old, and the big call from Jim Magilton to play Connor Pepper, just his 10th start of the season?
Yeah, I think for Connor Pepper, you know, he's going to give them loads of energy in the middle of the park there. So perhaps Jim feels that they're going to need that against Linfield with, you know, the likes of Kyle McLean in there, the attacking threat that he has for Linfield. For Braden Graham, I'm sure David Healy thought long and hard about it, because the young lad has been superb since he's come into the team. Shows no fear, and he'll certainly show no fear on a day like this. But he's went for the more experienced player in Chris McKee. But Braden Graham is a great, you know, asset to have coming off the bench in this game if he needs him.
Crunching challenge early on. Hale and Finlayson.
Yeah, it's a good fair challenge from both players. Certainly got the crowd going.
It almost feels like an international game, and that type of atmosphere, and not even just a normal international game, one where qualification is on the line, because I've rarely heard Windsor Park louder as Linfield win a free kick in a really good position in the opening minutes.
Yeah, Kirk Miller does really well. He just comes inside a little bit off the flank. He's looking to take people on. Just draws a foul from Connor Pepper there. Dangerous position here for Linfield. Chance to put the ball into the box and put Cliftonville under pressure early in this game.
Kirk Miller standing over it. Joel Cooper also lurking, but you'd expect that it is going to be Miller. Finlayson, Fitzpatrick and Hall all trying to go on the end of it. It's good defending from Doherty. An outstretched left leg concedes the opening corner kick of the game.
It's a brilliant delivery again from Kirk Miller. We know all about his deliveries. Superb from the dead ball, and you know, it's great defending from Doherty. You know, he's backtracking in the 6-yard box and he has to get it away from the danger. He does really well.
Linfield starting on the front foot. Beats everybody except Casey. Finlayson was just behind him. Danger still not away. Fitzpatrick, first effort on goal smothered by Odamusu. And it was a player in red first to it. Linfield looking dangerous in the early stages from set pieces. Vital interception before this, and good composure by Linfield to play a couple of passes in the penalty area, and in the end it was a stop that Odamusu would have expected to make.
Yeah, a few little nervous moments there early in this game for Cliftonville. A bright start by Linfield. 2 crosses into the box have caused Cliftonville problems so far in this game, and that's something Linfield will be looking to do throughout the game.
Oren Casey broke into Tommy Wright's under-21 Northern Ireland squad this season. Representative of his performances throughout the campaign. Addis tries to sweep it towards Kearney, but it's cut out by Miller. Miller actually starting off on the left-hand side.
Yeah, Miller and Cooper are both on the left-hand side at this moment in time. You know, Kirk Miller probably has that little license more to roam about, as we see him doing now, and then it'll be up to McGee to sort of take his position on the right-hand side. So bit of flexibility there within the Linfield midfield five.
Well, Miller's been on the ball a lot in the opening couple of minutes. Kyle McLean finds Cooper. McLean, the player of the year recently. He would love to top it off with an Irish Cup winners medal. He hasn't won the competition during his time at Linfield. Mulgrew, someone who certainly was forced off in that game against Korean a couple of weeks ago with a hamstring issue, back in the starting lineup, and we know the experience that he will bring. Shields tries to clip it over the top and link up with Cooper, had just too much on it though.
Yeah, it's a good idea from Shields, and that's what he gives you. You know, from a defensive position, Chris Shields can carry the ball out from defence. He's a great range of passing. He can get Linfield on the front foot from that position. We just see the opportunity there again from Linfield. It's a smart save from Oromusu, and they clear the danger, but a couple of nervous moments there, and you know, Cliftonville just need to settle down a little bit, get a few passes of the ball, you know, get their players on the ball for a little bit of time, and that'll settle the nerves for them.
Chris McKee has just 1 goal in his last 10 matches, but 3 in his last 4 against Cliftonville, so Jim Magilton's side will be very aware of the threat that he poses. Oromusu just switching match balls. Over the head of Hall. Finlayson tussling with Hale. Broken up by Linfield and McGrew. Patrick Burns' first involvement in a free kick has once again been given against Cliftonville. A couple of tackles flying in there. I think it was for that initial one from Pepper rather than the subsequent challenge from Burns. So
yeah, I think Connor Pepper already a couple of fouls he's given away in this game early on, and you know, he's just got to be careful with the referee. A couple more, he might go into the book. He doesn't want to go into the book too early. But you can see what he brings to Cliftonville in the middle of the park there. You know, Jim Magilton's gone for him, and today he's only started 10 games all season. So it's a big shout to put him in today. But what he does, he gives you loads of energy in the middle of the park, and he'll run all day and he'll make those tackles.
Famously left Glentoran the day after they won the cup final to join Linfield. He wasn't involved in that decider or the semi-final earlier in the week. Went on 12 months later to win the competition with the South Belfast club, and it's a free kick again for Linfield, and Cliftonville have to be careful here because they've given away a couple of dead balls early on, and this one's probably a little bit too far out for Cooper to have a pop from, but he's walking across with purpose. Miller also making his way across. It is a long way out, and interestingly though, Hall and Finlayson haven't come up for this one. Cooper, driven low. Lacked any venom from Joel Cooper.
Yeah, it was a long way out, as you say, Thomas. They're just trying to work the angle to give Joel Cooper, you know, more to aim at, but he just doesn't get enough purchase on it. But you know, it was worth a try early in the game, test the goalkeeper out again. But Jamie Mulgrew already having a real influence in the game. We see him getting on the ball, breaking from midfield, drawing those fouls in dangerous positions.
Cooper scored in the final for Linfield against Larne in 2021. Again, it's Casey penalised. It's a couple of occasions.
It didn't seem to be an awful lot in that one from Casey. Thought he got a touch on the ball. But again, Cliftonville just not able to settle so far in this first almost 10 minutes.
Not really able to get in the ball at all.
No.
Mulgrew finds McLean. Now it's Miller. Mulgrew picked his words very wisely when he was talking about this game, said it would soften the blow of what happened in the league. He's a fierce competitor, a 37. We all know about the records that he's broken in recent years. Another milestone today for him as he tries to catch up with Noah Bailey, the all-time appearance maker for Linfield. I don't think he's going to quite get there, but referee having a word with Chris McKee just on the edge of your shot. And again, a little bit of dialogue with the goalkeeper, Odamusu. I think again he's talking about the match ball. It's a couple of occasions, and the referee says it's all right, you can get on with things.
I'm sure everything was checked and double checked before the game by the officials, but Odamusu seems to have a little issue with the football.
Jimmy Gilton turns 55 on Monday. Big character, and it's been a great addition to the league. This is his first experience of the Irish Cup. He knows David Healy very well, of course. It was good to see how they were able to maybe switch off a little bit and talk about some of those great occasions they'd shared together down through the years. One of them will be smiling at the end of this game. One of them will be suffering, if you like. David Jeffrey, for all the Irish Cups that he's won, it always refers to the final defeats, and in particular that one against Crusaders, and that probably tells you that so many things to love about this competition, but can also hurt you as well. Can Cliftonville hurt Linfield with their first attack of the game? Cross is easily cut out. Doherty has it. Cliftonville need to thread a few passes together.
Yeah, they haven't really enjoyed any real possession so far in this game, but the ball just broke lovely there for Doherty, and he put a lovely ball on the left wing to Stewart, and he was just looking to cut it back, but Linfield were able to clear the danger. But good moment for Cliftonville.
Gill's challenge wasn't penalised by the referee, but I think he was aware it was falling to Linfield anyway. Cliftonville starting to find their feet. Haven't conceded, of course, in this competition this year. Their last final loss was back in 2019 against Coleraine. They've lost a decider 4 times since that 1979 victory, a figure which is constantly remembered with anybody associated with the club. Fitzpatrick, another free kick. Good work by Fitzpatrick just to invite the challenge again. It's Casey, and that I think is number 3 for him. So
yeah, he's, again, you know, Fitzpatrick, there's not a lot in it really, you know, Casey, but Fitzpatrick feels the pressure on him. He feels the touch coming from Casey, and he goes over. It's going to be given, but Casey's just got to be very careful there, because he's really going away from goal. Just show him away from goal. There's no danger. Now he's giving away a free kick again in a dangerous position, and Kirk Miller or Joe Cooper will be looking to put a dangerous ball in here again and put them under pressure.
We've got a little glimpse already of what Kirk Miller is capable of. Recently signed a new 2-year contract at the club. Here it comes from Miller. There's the opener. It's McGee. Scored in the quarter-final. He's now found the net in the decider. What a few months it's been for the 21-year-old. Joined from Dungannon, and has put Linfield ahead. David Healy calm as ever. Ethan McGee savouring the moment.
Yeah, again, it's a brilliant delivery from Kirk Miller. Put in with pace. McGee gets a little yard on his marker, and it's a bullet header from him. No chance for Odamusu. The pace on the delivery makes it. The run is superb. And what a finish, and what a start for Linfield. They've started the game really well. They find themselves in front.
In the opening quarter of an hour. Cliftonville having to come from behind in this decider. Linfield won the League Cup. They're ahead in the Irish Cup final. They've won themselves a free kick as well. Great finish from Ethan McGee. His 4th goal on his 18th appearance. Arrived as a as a right back / wing back. He's actually been pushed into midfield by David Healy.
He's been a great signing for Linfield, McGee, and showing his versatility. And you know, what a moment for a young player on a day like this, on an occasion like today. And you know, it was a fantastic finish from him, off a great delivery from Kirk Miller. And as I said before, Linfield have just settled better in this game. Cliftonville are giving away a lot of needless fouls, putting themselves under pressure, and Linfield have capitalised on that.
Ashford, I think it's probably the first time we've mentioned his name in this commentary. Scored last week in the final game of the league. Hasn't actually started a match since mid-March. Fitzpatrick, virtual ever present in the Linfield side. Joel Cooper twisting and turning and tormenting Kearney. You always talk, Paul, about the first 20 minutes and how important it is to set the standards and try and seize control of the game. Linfield are epitomising.
They are. They've started, you know, really, really brightly. They looked right up for it, as I thought they would be. And here's another opportunity for them.
Miller wasting no time, looking towards Finlayson, who got above his marker.
And every delivery so far from Kirk Miller has been on the money, and again it puts the ball into a good area that time, and it gives Finlayson something to attack, and we know he has that threat in the box as well.
Almost every set piece trying to isolate Finlayson one-on-one. He's got a great leap. He scored some vital goals for Linfield this season. Shields just makes everything look so easy. Hasn't played a huge amount of football in 2024, and when he came back into the side, David Healy elected for the three at the back instead of his midfield role for Chris Shields, and he's slotted in there brilliantly. Such a good professional. Miller has had a massive influence in this game.
Yeah, he's been superb. You know, he's popping up everywhere in every area of the field. Himself and Joel Cooper look right up for this game.
Cooper to McGee, the man who scored the goal. Cliftonville's midfield really hasn't been able to get into the game. McLean flies across to try and stop Jim Magilton's side, trying to push the ball up the pitch and threaten that Linfield backline.
Yeah, it's a super tackle from McLean, putting Kearney under pressure. Linfield just not allowing Cliftonville to settle one bit, and Cliftonville have had they've not been able to get their foot in the ball at all in this first almost 20 minutes now. And you know, someone just needs to get a hold of the game, settle down. You know, those experienced players have got to say, let's settle down, guys. Let's enjoy a bit more possession and try and grow ourselves back into this game.
Addis tips it across to Patrick Burns.
Yeah, again, you know, there's just a simple pass on the left-hand side to Stewart, and you know, Burns opts for the difficult delivery, and they've given the ball back to Linfield.
This is the build-up to the goal and the free kick.
Yeah, we see it here. It's a fantastic header. You know, the pace on the header gives the goalkeeper no chance. But you know, as I said just before the free kick, Fitzpatrick's going away from goal. Casey's just got to show him away from goal, let him set the ball back, and his job is done. He draws the foul in a dangerous position, and that allows Linfield to put the ball into the box, and Cliftonville find themselves 1-0 down. So they've got to learn from that. They've got to stop giving away needless free kicks.
Well, Jimmy Robinson so far has resisted the temptation to brandish any cards, but there are a couple of players here perhaps walking a little bit of a tightrope in that respect because of it. A couple of fouls each, likes of Casey and Kearney, two of Cliftonville's young guns. Miller, Finlayson again, dueling with Casey. Every single ball seems to be falling to a Linfield player. Chris Johns goes long. He's on the Coleraine side that day against Cliftonville. They won the competition. Sean Stewart's going down. Felt it was contact. Referee instead plays on. Fitzpatrick. No way past Burns. And Stewart back on his feet.
I thought when I saw it, he had no reason to go down. He had clear possession of the ball, which makes me think, there must have been a foul. And the referee has been given fouls for, let's just say a few soft ones. He didn't give that one. It'll be interesting to see it again because Cliftonville were on a good attack.
And certainly the supporters on the far side felt it should have been one.
You see there, McGee collides with him, his arm's a bit high, and the referee has been given those types of fouls already in this game, so he's got to be consistent there.
Ethan McGee, the Linfield goal scorer. Across to Shields. No real pressure at all on him. And it's worked towards the final third. McLean might fancy it. Far too close to the goalkeeper.
Yeah, again, it's good play from Linfield on the left-hand side. They work in the opening for McLean. He's looking to just try and bend it to the far top corner, but as you say, Thomas, just too close to the goalkeeper on that occasion.
How did Cliftonville A, try and hold on to the ball better, and B, try and put more pressure on Linfield when they're in possession?
You see it there, they're giving the ball away needlessly under no real pressure. Someone's just got to. Doherty's the man for me who will look to get on the ball for them in that midfield area. Rory Hale so far has been really quiet in this game. They've got to get those key players really into the game, try and keep possession of the ball better, stop giving away those fouls as well, because they're just inviting pressure from Linfield. But it's interesting, when we did the league games against these two, Cliftonville were the team on the front foot, having more possession of the ball, taking the game to Linfield. Today they seem to be a little bit more conservative, which they were against Larne in the semi-final, looking to play counter-attack football. Perhaps that's their tactic, but for me, the really good Cliftonville that I've seen this season has been the team that takes the game to the opposition.
Is Kirk Miller's positioning also causing problems? Because the player who maybe brings that energy is usually Rory Hale, and a lot of time he's having to be the man running around after Kirk Miller.
Yeah, well, and if you look at Rory Hale at the minute, Ethan McGee is doing a bit of a job on him. Kirk Miller has got that licence, to roam, and Cliftonville just aren't sure what to do with him, and he's had loads of joy early in this game, and it's something they've got to get to grips with. Communication's key for them. When the players are interchanging, they've got to communicate with each other better and try and pick them up and put the shackles on them.
Cliftonville have a really poor record against Linfield. Just one win in their last 16 matches in all competitions against David Healy's side. And it's over 6 years since their last win here at Windsor Park.
Yeah, it just shows you how difficult it is. And we mentioned, yes, it's a cup final, it's a one-off game. Form goes out the window, but Linfield
I couldn't believe those stats when I read them and tried to almost double-check them, because you think about how competitive Cliftonville have been in recent seasons, and you wouldn't have thought there was that gulf when it comes to the duels between the two sides.
Yeah, and certainly, the way this game has started, Linfield just look to be a level above at this moment in time, and Cliftonville have got to try and get their way back into this game. We've seen Johnny Addis having the ball there, loads of space, loads of time, no real options on the ball. They need people to show for the ball, they need more options.
McGee trying to burrow his way inside. These two Linfield players actually challenged for the same ball, and Shields and Hall given away again cheaply. Cliftonville cannot afford to do that. Not in that area of the pitch. Casey steps up though and wins it. Works out nicely for Ashford. Just Hale up alongside him. Rory Hale's made a good run the far side if it can be shifted towards him. Stewart's on the overlap. Hale instead pops it inside. So close to an equaliser. Just over the head of his brother Ronan, and it was Ashford sliding in at the back post. Cliftonville's first real promising attack We played 25 minutes, and having been up against it, they so easily could have equalised.
Yeah, it's superb play from Cliftonville, as you said, Thomas. It's their best piece of play in this game so far. 4, 5, 6 passes in the build-up. Rory Hale, he had the little overlap on. He came inside and he puts in a wicked ball across the front of the goal, and it's just begging to be put away. Unfortunately for Cliftonville, they can't get on the end of it, but that will give them real encouragement.
And it probably all comes from that tackle of Casey, just having the confidence to step up and the authority to step up, win the ball, and then shift it through the lines.
Yeah, it was better from Casey, and they had a little bit of a break of fortune in the middle of the park, and the ball came to Ashford, but it was much better.
Here comes Hale, rolling this time. Doherty's outside him. Cliftonville have found their feet. Can they find a goal? Rory Hale tries to cut onto his right foot. Doherty had more time than he thought. Picked out brilliantly by Rory Hale. Yeah. And when you see it from that angle, he really should have taken a touch.
He's got to do better. He's leaning back. He just can't keep it under control. But again, more encouragement for Cliftonville. Hale heavily involved in the build-up again. He's the guy for Cliftonville. He's the one that's got to get them going from the middle of the park there. The creative spark. You know, he sets it up again lovely. But unfortunately, you know, for Doherty, he just can't keep it on target.
This time is for Fitzpatrick, who's adjudged to a foul Casey. Things just starting to click for Cliftonville. They're a goal down. Ethan McGee with a bullet header in the opening quarter of an hour after a brilliant delivery from Kirk Miller. First time I think we've seen Casey this far up the pitch. Kearney. Broken up though, and it's a Linfield counter-attack. Cooper takes on his man as he's shown too much of it to the goalkeeper, who comes out, spills it, and was fouled in the process, I think, or perhaps the referee is querying if it was a potential head issue, so stop play. Both players committed, both Cooper and Odamusu.
Yeah, Cooper's touch just was a bit heavy. Odamusu sort of hesitated for me. He comes out. Cooper's got every right to go for it there. You see it here. He's got every right to go for it. Yes, there's a collision. He catches the goalkeeper.
It's a very greasy surface as well, but
yeah,
Odamusu certainly felt the full force of Joel Cooper, and that angle in particular, it looked to be into the ribs of the goalkeeper.
Yeah, it looks like a sore one from the goalkeeper, but for me, you know, Joel Cooper's got every right to go for that challenge, and you know, the goalkeeper's coming out very bravely, and they'll be hoping he's okay.
Opportunity for both managers to have a word with their players, in particular Cliftonville. Jared Little there, a key member of the backroom team. Brian Campbell, the kit man, as well. Goalkeeper still down.
No, I think they'll be pleased with their last 5 minutes contribution, Cliftonville, because before that they just weren't really in the game. They were giving away a lot of free kicks. They were giving the ball away under no pressure. It was so unlike them, but they've started to grow back into it. They've had a couple of little opportunities of their own.
This is a goal that separates the sides.
Yeah, we see McGee, he's hungrier to get to the ball. I think it's maybe young Kearney that's marking him from the set piece. He gets a little half a yard on him, and once he gets in front of him, he's never going to miss from there. It's a fantastic header and a great moment for him.
Looks like Odamusu is going to be okay. As we look back at those images of Ethan McGee celebrating a goal. It's amazing how cup final goals are remembered as well. Jim Magilton having a word with Shea Kearney. I think it's probably at this stage we need to mention Kieran McKenna's achievements at Ipswich Town, Jim Magilton's former club. Kieran McKenna has led them back to the Premier League, the young manager from Fermanagh. What an achievement for him. Hotly tipped for the very top of the game. I know he's been in contact with Jim Magilton in recent times, given what he achieved at the Championship club in the past as both a player and a manager. Risky from Allison, risky as well from Stewart. Far too casual at the back from Cliftonville. They get away with it though, just.
Yeah, I think big Johnny Addis, who's been superb this season, he's all left-footed. He should really just trust his right foot there and clear it with his right foot.
Now it's Linfield's turn to give away possession softly. Heel looks for his brother Ronan, hook clear, and it's just for Patrick up top, but he's a handful, the former Glenavon player. Settles down a little bit for Linfield and Cooper. McKee, good vision to spread it across to Kirk Miller. Unable to link up with the goal scorer on the right-hand side. Good cup final, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really good. You know, what have we, 31 minutes gone, it's just flown by. You know, it's been an excellent game so far. The atmosphere, the whole occasion is superb, and you know, the players have got a relish as well. You know, it's a special day, and you know, Linfield have found themselves in front, probably deservedly so in the first half an hour, but there's a long way to go in this game.
Larne back-to-back champions. Linfield finished second in the league, Cliftonville third. Cliftonville started their Irish Cup campaign with a 3-0 away victory against Coleraine, thanks to a hat-trick from the man on the ball right now, Ronan Hale. It took extra time then, 4-0 at home against Loughgall. Another couple of goals for Ronan Hale, his brother Rory and Joe Gormley also in the score sheet. 2-0 away against Portadown in the quarters, and then a really impressive semi-final victory over Larne, 2-0. Did Hale keep it in on this occasion?
No, but he's starting to see more of the ball. Rory Hale, I mentioned how much of an influence Jimmy Mulgrew was in the first 20 minutes. Rory Hale now, the other skipper, he's becoming more of an influence, starting to see more of the ball. And as I said before, he's that person who can create and score for Cliftonville from that middle of the park.
Great colour from both sets of supporters. They've really embraced the game. Tickets sold out in a flash, and everywhere that I've been over the past couple of weeks, people have been talking about the cup final on both sides, all the nervousness of what's going to happen, and could Linfield win it again? Could Cliftonville claim it for the first time in a long time? Good defending from Shields, just to nod it back to Chris Johns.
Yeah, he's so calm under pressure, Chris Shields. Just nods it back to his goalkeeper. Great cover and position.
Won an FAI Cup with Dundalk on 3 occasions. Ashford unable to hold it up. It was a decision that Jim Magilton had to make. Who would play alongside Ronan Hale? Would it be Gormley? Would it be Ashford? Or would it be Ben Wilson, who had that electrifying start to the season? Opted for the Englishman and has the other two on the bench.
I think Ashford's that sort of player who'll look to get it in the feet and link the play, and you know, Ronan Hale will be the one that looks to go beyond and use his pace to hurt Linfield.
Cliftonville could have an issue here because they're readying their medical team. I'm not quite sure who is carrying a knock. Play currently continuing. Fitzpatrick, and away by Kearney. Only as far as Finlayson. McLean. He's looked very bright. Lifted in by Miller. Another delivery that Casey has to deal with. Pepper got in the way, but it's worked out towards Kearney. Ashford does hold it up this time. Stewart finds Ashford. Stewart's continued his run. Hale's lurking in the edge of the box. Good defending though initially from Finlayson.
Yeah, again, it's better play from Cliftonville, and Ashford, you know, we mentioned that's what he's in the team for. to hold the play, link the play, and he was able to do it on that occasion. And then Cliftonville were able to get more bodies forward and support.
I think the concerns over the goalkeeper once more, and it must be a huge concern, because he obviously felt the full force of that challenge a few minutes ago. He's gone down again, and I think he was trying to signal to the bench there's going to be a change here. Nathan Gartside's going to come on. Odamusu's cup final is over.
Yeah, it's a shame for David Odamusu, you know, to have to go out of today's game on such a big occasion. Gartside's a really able replacement. We see it here again. You know, Joel Cooper takes the heavy touch, the goalkeeper comes out, and you see there, Cooper's knee really collides with his midriff. You see it here. You know, I still think, for me, Cooper's got every right to go for the ball, but you see it there, it is a heavy collision. He catches him with the knee in the midriff, and he's been unable to recover from that, and it's too key of a position for Cliftonville. They have to make that change, but Gartside's a player who's played a lot of games for them, and he'll come in and look to get a good early touch on the ball and settle down into this game.
His 54th appearance, Nathan Gartside, 26 years old. He's actually started 2 of the last 3 games in Cliftonville's season. Was called up to the Northern Ireland senior squad in 2021, and well, it's a tough one to take for Odamusu. Performed so well for long periods of the season, having joined permanently from St Pat's. And on comes Gartside, a forced change for Cliftonville.
Yeah, it's such a shame for him, as I say, on such a big occasion like today, to have to go out, but you know, he'll be willing his team to get the right result here.
Little break in the game.
And if you're Linfield, you're looking to put the goalkeeper under pressure as soon as possible, whether that be with a cross ball or, you know, an early shot against them. Because it's such a big game to come on, you know, in that position for Gartside.
Pepper. Doherty. Casey wants it on the overlap. Plenty forward here for Cliftonville and Red. Kearney. Can't get his cross in. Good defending from Joel Cooper. Doherty. Lifts it in, but Finlayson should deal with it. Just lets the ball drift out of play.
I thought that just earlier in that move, I thought Oran Casey had the opportunity to put the ball into the box. He decided to go wide to Kearney, and then Linfield were able to block his cross, but you know, Casey, just on that occasion, the decision, he probably should have put the ball into the box.
Hale. Pepper. Cliftonville's midfield starting to get into this game. Just as I say that, it's Doherty who's crowded out of it. Burns wins it back though. So many Linfield players behind the ball. Hale. Skipper for the day. Club captain Chris Curran's on the benches. The cross does get in. Looked like it was going to drift over the end line. Good play from Sean Stewart to keep the attack going. And it's resulted in a throw-in for Cliftonville.
Yeah, Stewart does brilliantly to keep that ball in. Looked like he had no chance of doing it. He manages to get it across, and Ronan Hale gets in front of Chris Shields.
Just over 5 minutes to go until the break. Only goal of the game came in the opening quarter of an hour. Ethan McGee with a brilliant header from Kirk Miller's free kick. Cliftonville's best chance was a Rory Hale cross that was just outside the 6-yard box, but Ashford, nor Ronan Hale, could get a touch on it. Good turn from Ronan Hale. Kearney scored a brilliant goal against Glentoran from that type of range earlier in this season. Couldn't keep this one down. Shea Kearney.
That's a
bit more purpose though from Cliftonville.
It's much better from Cliftonville. It's a great little turn from Hale in the middle of the park, and He's just looking for the little return ball from Kearney, but it did open up slightly for him. You know, and he decided to go for the shot, just couldn't keep it on target. But again, it's more encouraging for Cliftonville.
Linfield's route to the final. We're actually 2-0 down in the first half against Warrenpoint Town in their opening fixture. Then a 2-0 win against Ballymena, 3-1 against Institute, and 3-1 as well against Glentoran in that Big 2 last 4 encounter. There's a hush around Windsor Park despite this massive crowd. Burns. Little flick from Heel doesn't come off. It was well read by Finlayson. Mulgrew wants it. Now it's Linfield's turn to hold on to the ball. They've been starved of it after a little bit of a purple patch from Jim Magilton's side. Miller. Just a little nudge was enough. Fitzpatrick to Mulgrew. Just about got there to squeeze it out to Cooper. McGee's on the overlap and cuts it back. It's left by McLean and well read by Doherty.
Yeah, good play again from Linfield. Cooper on the left-hand side. McGee making the run. It's well cut out by Cliftonville. But again, Linfield showing the threat when players like Cooper and Miller get on the ball.
Ashford seemed to almost cut back into trouble. And after a delay, the free kick's given. David Healy not happy with it. He was hoping that Cooper was going to be on his bike down that left-hand side.
Yeah, again for me, you know, the referee's been given those types of fouls throughout the game, so he has to be consistent. He takes a little second or two just to think about it again, maybe gets a little call from one of the assistants, but I think in the end it's a foul.
Well, the fourth official came over to David Healy and said, stand a foot further back from where you are in the edge of your technical area. I think Healy was well aware of his positioning.
And this is
and just voicing his displeasure at the decision.
Good opportunity now for Cliftonville. It's all about the delivery.
Stewart. Well defended by Fitzpatrick and picked up by Mulgrew. Now Linfield come forward. It's actually Kearney who got his foot to the ball but could only direct it towards Miller. Joel Cooper's work ethic has been very impressive, hasn't it?
Yeah, you know, and he has to put in a shift on this left wing back position. You know, normally we see him playing a little free number 10 role, but you know, he's up and down this line. He's having to do his defensive work, and he's also been very creative for Linfield too, so he's working tremendously hard.
It's probably not his favourite position, Joel Cooper. He's the club's top scorer, of course, and he's also missed long parts of the season through injury, so very much an attacking threat rather than one who likes to be in his own half of the pitch. Shields. We're expecting quite a bit of injury time at the end of this first half. Shields somehow managed to link up with Cooper. He wins his side at the corner kick. And we've mentioned the fact that he seems to glide. Nothing looked to be on there, but Shields found the space, found the link-up play, and all of a sudden Cliftonville have more defending to do.
Yeah, it's brilliant play from Chris Shields, using all his experience, showing all his quality, winning Linfield a corner here out of nothing.
Final 30 seconds of this first half. Played in low, Cooper. Well worked set piece from Linfield, almost came off. Danger still not away. Hale gets his head up.
Oh.
Brilliant pass to find Stewart. Rory Hale is onside, had a little glance behind. Can't get his shot off though, it's Finlayson tracking back. There's a little bit of afters, and it's going to be the first card of the game for Ronan Hale. Followed through in Shields after the ball was gone, and the opinion of Jamie Robinson.
Yeah, I think Hale just got a little bit frustrated there. The move broke down. Finlayson does really well to get back. Kyle McLean, and he just leans into Chris Shields. It's not a really bad tackle. He just leans his body into him. You see it here. It's a foul. Yeah, referee's given the first yellow card. It's a bit of a soft yellow card as well. But it was a good move in the build-up again from Cliftonville. They worked it well. They were looking to get Ronan Hale in front of goal. Linfield were able to get numbers back and snuff out the danger.
6 goals so far in this cup run for Ronan Hale. Cliftonville have been at their best in transition or on the counter-attack.
Yeah, they have been, and you know, it's certainly in the last 15-20 minutes it's been really good for them. So they've got to keep that going. Rory Hale is picking up position centrally, left side as well. You know, he's grown into the game a lot more. And on the transition, they've looked to hurt Linfield, but Linfield have been able to get bodies back. They're working so hard from the midfield to get bodies back and try and clear the danger.
Stewart goes down. Another free kick. It's getting feisty out there. Kirk Miller involved with an order under 21. Jamie Robinson pushing players back, trying to sort things out. He's going to have a word with Kirk Miller. And it looks like a yellow for both players, you would expect.
Yeah, I think the referee, you know, we don't want to see any of that. He's going to, obviously, the yellow cards hopefully cut those types of scenarios out. Yeah, both players. And hopefully that's a warning to everyone else.
Cliftonville arguing Sean Stewart's innocence there, the Northern Ireland under-21 international who's on loan from Norwich City. This is another look at it. It's a bad tackle initially from Miller.
Yeah,
missed the ball completely.
Yeah, and Stewart's reacted. You know, it is a bad tackle. It's a yellow card warranted tackle right away for Miller, and then there's a little bit of afters. You know, Stewart will feel hard done by there.
And it comes from Hale. Casey picked up by Miller in his own box, shows good strength and to brush off Ronan Hale. Referee says it struck the chest of Kirk Miller.
Yeah, he did really well there, Kirk Miller. He looked ahead and there was nothing ahead of him, and Jamie Mulgrew just dropped into the space for him, and Linfield were able to keep possession.
He's involved with play once again, and it's McKee who plays it forward. A little bit of indecision once again in Gartside's first involvement in this game. There's a bit more bite about Cliftonville now. They've grown as a half has gone on, but they find themselves behind, of course, after that early goal.
Yeah, again, another foul, that time from McGee on Kearney. And yeah, you mentioned, Thomas, there is a lot more about Cliftonville. The first 20 minutes they looked really nervous. They just didn't settle it at all into the game, but they've grown into it without really creating. You know, the best chance was obviously the ball in from Rory Hale across the face of goal. So that, you know, Jim Magilton will be saying them at half-time, yeah, we've grown more into the game, but can we create?
Oh, Casey's in trouble here.
Oh dear.
Felt his ankle straight away, I think. Oh, oh, it's his knee. David Healy's actually across to help him too. There's real concern about Oran Casey here.
I think maybe the referee should blow for half-time. Yeah.
I think he's going to, and that's common sense more than anything else from Jamie Robinson. And you can see how quickly David Healy was across and how Linfield players were across. A lot has been said about the rivalry between these two clubs over the last while. That shows that on the pitch, there's also, you know, yes, it's competitive, but there's a lot of friendships here and a lot of respect between them, and that was shown in the last 30 seconds of that game. We hope Oran Casey, the injury isn't as serious as we first suspected. The stretcher's actually on its way out. David Healy's staying alongside him, and Joe Gormley comes across to say thanks to him.
Yeah, you know, you see that mutual respect there. You know, no one wants to see a fellow professional, a fellow player getting hurt. Right away, there was a cause for concern for Oran Casey. David Healy was straight on. The Linfield medical staff are helping the Cliftonville medical staff, and let's hope it's not as serious as it looks.
It does look to be the knee. Oran Casey knew it straight away. But at half-time in this Irish Cup semi-final, it's Linfield who have the advantage. They lead at the break. It's Cliftonville 0, Linfield 1.
Well, a difficult end to that first half. Stephen Cregan and David Jeffrey are with me. Aside from what happened just on the half-time whistle there, it's been a really lively, entertaining Irish Cup final.
First of all, our thoughts with Oran Casey at this moment in time. We don't want to see anyone get injured, but someone starting out their career. He's had a terrific start at Cliftonville, so fingers crossed, or hopefully it isn't as bad as what Paul and Thomas are just reiterating there. As a spectacle, it was everything we wanted. We wanted it to be feisty, we wanted it to be lively, we wanted to see quality. We spoke about the energy and the dynamism that both sets of players have, and I think they've showed that at different stages throughout the first half. There's no doubt in the opening 15 minutes, Linfield settled better. Mulgrew was influential, Kirk Miller was influential, and Chris Shields was influential, just with a little bit of composure and calmness and knowing when to take the sting out of the game, when to inject a little bit of energy. It's as if that Linfield team had been desperate for this game to come around. From the moment they realised they weren't going to win the Irish League, they thought, cup final, that is on our mind. Their focus, and it shows just by the bit between their teeth they had in the early stages of that game. Of course, Cliftonville are going to have their fair share as the game progresses, and they have done in the second half of the first half, but Linfield settled best and showed maturity and the experience that we thought they had. I thought as if the opening 20-25 minutes, I don't know if the week affected Cliftonville. I spoke about it ahead of the game, exerting so much energy because your focus is everywhere else apart from the game. Linfield were complete opposite, but it's poised brilliantly for us.
And applause for Oran Casey as he's been stretchered off at half-time. Let's hope that that injury is not as bad as first feared. Obviously, a very disappointing day for him. Jim Magilton will be forced to reshuffle his side now as well. But respect from both sets of fans for Casey there.
There's a massive rivalry, obviously, between the clubs, and particularly on a day like today. But all of that goes up absolutely out the window when you see a young man who Stephen quite rightly said he's had a phenomenal season. I watched him several times and rate him very highly, and he's a very important part of this Cliftonville team. So, but to go off with an injury like that, so let's please God that it's not just as serious as it looks.
And is the difference in that first half simply Linfield's start, David, their composure for the first 15-20?
I think, you know, the one aspect which I didn't really focus on too much, you know, in the build-up was how would the Cliftonville players deal with the atmosphere, with the level of expectation that's around, and Linfield dealt with it in a way which in a very matter-of-fact way, and I think physically, you know, I watched, there were several tackles they really went for. They set the tone. There was a high press. They got after Cliftonville. They didn't let Cliftonville get into any sort of a pattern of passing and moving. They really were quite dominant. To Cliftonville's credit, they've got themselves back into the game in terms of possession and creating chances for themselves. But certainly the start from Linfield was blistering.
And their patience paid off with the opening goal, and they took a deserved lead.
They did, but you know, in any game, never mind a cup final, when you're on top and you're feeling good and you feel as if the momentum is with you and you're cohesive, you have to capitalise. You've got to get the finish. I think David Odomusu, I think in that instance, be as long as you want. You can't afford to be short. You want to take Kirk Miller out of the game. He doesn't manage to do that, and then Linfield get the ball and they play forward. I have to say, I thought that was quite soft as a free kick. That's more, for me, that's more of a football, an incident with two players coming together. The referee's assistant's right on the money, but you talk about desire and hunger and the willingness to get to the ball before your opponent. Ethan McGee epitomises that. I think it's Shay Kearney he's up against. He just manages to bustle him out of the way. The only one thing in his mind, David, was, I'm heading that ball.
Yeah, but you're 100% right. You know, in terms of the ball into the box, absolutely excellent by Kirk Miller. You know, a great delivery, but it was just desire and it was strength. Look, You know, he was getting there before Kearney. End of story. Nothing was getting in his way. And what a header. Odamusu had nothing to do, or could do nothing. I think the frustrating thing for Jim will be that it was avoidable. Yes, the free kick was soft, but the play, the lead up to it, with the ball being given away needlessly, and that will have frustrated Jim. But Linfield took advantage, and my goodness gracious me, what a header!
And they pressed and pressed again, and could have made it too.
Well, we said it when you're on top. You almost want to put your foot on the throat of your opponent. You want to try and take the game away from them as much as you possibly can. And at this stage, Jim's probably thinking, get through this spell, don't concede a second goal, make sure it stays at 1-0. Irrespective of how we're playing, particularly we're not playing it as well as we used to, we don't have the fluency, but don't concede a second goal because it's a long way back in a cup final having to come from 2 down. So they managed to get through it, but at that stage, on the opposite side, David Healy's thinking, give us that second goal. We know then we have them where we want them.
And my mistake, of course, that chance was just before the goal. My fault there, Stephen. But it did show Linfield's start, David, was blistering.
Very, very much so. You know, they really went after Cliftonville with a vengeance. You know, and as I say, great save by young Odamusu. And you're quite right. As a manager in a touchline, when you're getting battered like that, you're thinking to yourself, just get through this next 5 minutes, then the next 5 minutes, and then can we slowly get ourselves back into the game? And you're quite right, Stephen, in terms of what David will be thinking when you're on top. You've got to capitalise as much as you can, because make no mistake, I can see Cliftonville having their period of dominance, and the secret is when you're dominant, then you've got to reap the rewards. When you're under the cosh, then you've got to tough it out. And Jim will be delighted that his team has only gone in just the 1 goal down.
Yeah, and as we saw after 25 minutes, Cliftonville got back into the game after that nervy start that they had, and they started to get a little bit more joy in front of goal.
Well, you spoke about the Hale brothers, and it's Rory Hale who needed to get hold of the ball. Rory Hale is the one player who's got that energy from midfield, that driving force, the ability to step past players and make things happen. And he was involved in everything that was good from 25 minutes on. And this is better from Cliftonville because they're passing the ball. There's lots of spaces. Too often they missed the first pass. They missed the first pass too often and give up possession. That will frustrate Jim because he prides his team on dictating the play. There's Rory Hale out on the left-hand side. The freedom to go and find space and make things happen. And at the back post, I think Sam Ashford will be disappointed he hasn't gotten the end of it. That's when you felt as if it was starting to turn a little bit and Cliftonville were getting the foothold.
And more like the Cliftonville team that we have watched this season, David, that has taken the game to the opposition.
Their big players, Stephen, decided to come to the game. And that's the long and short of it. It really is very, very simple. On days like today, you need your star players to perform. And in the first 20-25 minutes, the Hale brothers were anonymous. Then after that, they suddenly become involved. They get more of the ball. They start setting things up. Now here, that deserved a better finish. And Doctor will be going, look, you can see how his reaction to it. But yet again, very Cliftonville-like, knocking the ball into the middle of the park, looking to commit, getting, okay, the shot was high and wide, but from young Kearney. But at least there was a sense of purpose, there was a sense of direction, and there was a sense of, listen, we just can't stand back and be battered and pressed. Yes, belief. Yes,
they started to trust themselves again. They
Absolutely.
Started to think, there's actually something here for us.
They feel they're in the cup final now.
The first 25 minutes passed them by. There was a real nervousness and an edginess about them, which is what we anticipated potentially before the game, having that more experienced Linfield team against the less experienced Cliftonville team. That's how it played out. But once you get one passage of play or one shot or one movement, you think, right, we're here. We're in the game now. Compose yourself and start to play, and that's exactly what happened.
And what did you make of the challenge Joel Cooper on the Cliftonville keeper?
For me, I agree with Paul and Thomas in commentary. I think Joel had every right to go for the ball. For me, it was a 50-50 ultimately. David maybe hesitates a little bit in coming out, but Joel at this stage, look, his eyes are only on the ball. He's not looking to injure or hurt the goalkeeper. Now, it certainly is a clash, but football is a physical game. But for me, Joel had every right to go there. David, tremendously brave, and as I say, I'm not exactly sure just where he was caught, but I don't think you can put any blame on Joel.
I think he's every right to go for the ball, albeit he has a heavy touch, but a manager would expect a player to go for that ball, and David's spot on with his assessment, because at no stage does Joel Cooper deviate his studs. Does he put them high? Does he try and injure the goalkeeper? Absolutely not. It's a footballing incident where he thinks, I can get to that ball first. And Autumn Nusu's hands probably touch the ball and Joe's foot touches the ball at the exact same time. So that tells you it's split by hairs. So I think he's every right to go for it. And unfortunately, the young goalkeeper came out injured.
And that's a sad thing, Steve, because his day's now ended.
Yeah.
You know?
And a big day for Gartside. He probably didn't think he was going to have.
No, well, this will test his mettle, you know, because the last person you're ever going to substitute is your goalkeeper, unless it's through injury. And when you look at the consistency of him most of this year, he's had a fabulous year, you know, and particularly since signing permanently with Cliftonville. But young Gartside, you know, he's a young man of talent, and you know he will say, right, this is my chance, this is my opportunity. Let me go out and make a big contribution.
Well, there was football last night, of course. Ballymena United and Institute played in the promotion and relegation playoff. Ballymena were trailing 1-0 from the first leg. Here's what's happened last night. Stephen McCulloch scored on his 250th appearance in the 78th minute. That made it 1-1. 2 minutes earlier, Oisin Devlin was sent off for Institute for a second yellow. And then 3 minutes from time, this happened. Calvin McCurry scored the winning goal to help keep Ballymena United in the Irish Premiership. Here's their manager, Jim Irvine.
It's been a long, rocky, hard road this year. Been a really long, hard season. Thankfully, we've done the job that we came to do. Certainly, you know, my focus. It's hard because you want to enjoy the night, but as a manager, you're always looking towards next year. And the one thing that we don't want to be is we don't want to be in this position next year. But I'm desperately proud of my players. You know, it would have been easy for us to kind of crumble after Tuesday night. You know, we were big favourites coming into the tie, and we had everything to lose. As much as that tonight is for Ballymena United Football Club, it's also for the support and the backing that my family have given me, because, like I say, I haven't been easy to live with this last 9 months.
Well done to Ballymena United. And we've one more live football game this season. On Monday afternoon, Crusaders or Coleraine will battle it out for European football. That's live on the iPlayer. Then it's the biggest week of the year for motorcycling. We kick it all off with highlights of the Cookstown 100 on Tuesday night on BBC One from 10:50. Then we have live and exclusive coverage of all the practice and racing from the International Northwest 200. That's on the iPlayer and website Wednesday, Thursday and Saturday next week. And we have 3 television highlights programmes for you on Friday the 10th of May, Sunday the 12th and Monday the 13th on BBC One and the iPlayer. Gaelic Football's Ulster Championship final is also on Sunday the 12th on BBC Two. But as a former manager of Ballymena United, David, happy to see that last night?
Delighted, I've got to say, overjoyed. Brad McLaughlin and I had 7 fabulous years at Ballymena United. So pleased and so proud of Jim Irvine. There's a big Ballymena United supporter, Timmy McCallion, who is a dear friend of Rose and myself. What a man, and folk will know what I'm talking about. And his fight was epitomised by how Ballymena went about their job last night. Well done, Ballymena. Well done, Jim Irvine. Delighted.
David, Stephen, thank you very much indeed. It's time for the second half. David Healy's Linfield beating Jim Magilton's Cliftonville by 1-0. The injured Cliftonville player, Oran Casey, has gone to hospital for further assessment. We wish him well with that. Time, though, for the second half. And back to Paul Lehman and Thomas Kane.
A second enforced change for Cliftonville after Gartside was introduced. Luke Kenny now is going to come on for Oran Casey. Just like to echo the thoughts of everyone in the studio, we wish the young defender Oran Casey well after that challenge just before the break. And we were just overhead. There is a view of Windsor Park overhead. We're awaiting official confirmation of the crowd, but it is expected to be in excess of 15,000. Just the 1 goal in the first half. It came for Linfield. Ethan McGee's header. Cliftonville have 45 minutes to try and find a net and find a way back into this game. Can they produce a spark? We're just waiting, I think, for the flare to be taken off the pitch. There it is on the surface. Magnificent shots from overhead, the drone up in the sky, giving you an idea of the scale of this occasion. Will it be Linfield's day? or can Cliftonville find a way back into this game? The spectators are ready, the players are ready, and we are going to get back underway, Paul. How do you think that change is going to affect Cliftonville's shape and their approach to the second half?
Yeah, I think it'll still be the same shape, Thomas, like for like in terms of position, but what you have from young Luke Kenny is a young, inexperienced player coming on to a huge game. He probably hasn't played a lot of football this season, whereas Casey was a mainstay for them. We hope he's okay, but you know, here's young Kenny already getting a couple of good touches in the ball, which will help him settle down. Yeah, we expect him to play on the right side of a three, but he's managed to drift out towards the sideline and win an early free kick in this second half. He does well there. It's a good opportunity again for Cliftonville to put a ball into the box, to get men forward. Sean Stewart's coming across once more. Was a young supporter when Cliftonville played in the decider in 2018. Was also at the 2013 final with his father Carl, a prominent GAA player. Comes from a big GAA family, Sean. Lifted in by Hale. Who's he going to fall to? Burns battles for it. Kearney had that go in the first half, elected to keep the attack going that time. Good ball in, Alice. Beaten to it by Finlayson. Decent period of pressure for Cliftonville. Broken up though by the man who scored the all-important goal in McGee. Christopher McKee. Attempting to link up with Fitzpatrick and cleared by Gartside, who was brought on in the first half following the injury to Otamusu. Really bright start from Cliftonville to the second half, and I think there was a really important header in the boxer, I think from Finlayson, was it? Dangerous ball in, brave header. Throw in to Linfield. Sean Stewart unable to keep the ball in play. Jim Magilton would have been desperate for his side to emerge in the dressing room in a more competitive manner than they started the game. A little bit passive early on from Magilton's side, but they found their rhythm as the half went on. Addis to Rory Hale. Two substitutes combining to get it away as Gartside clears. Plenty of quality in the bench for both sides. Plenty of attacking talent in particular. Patrick Burns gives it away to Miller. Addis scurrying across alongside Fitzpatrick. Yeah, both teams just guilty of giving away possession cheaply there. You know, when it could have been on for attacks for both teams. McLean. Cooper. Looks like he's going to go at Kearney. Still manages to get his cross in. Unable to link up with a teammate though. Ashford. Holds it up and again it's given away cheaply. It was Cooper just in behind. Luke Kenny. Better ball in. Brilliant defending from Sean Stewart. It looked a certain second for David Healy's side, and Kirk Miller at the back post. Little flick initially from Fitzpatrick, I think. Cliftonville almost architects their own downfall, giving possession away. Yeah, they just went to sleep. But brave defending from Stewart. Yeah, they went to sleep, Thomas, just on the right-hand side of the defence there. Kenny, who's obviously just come on at half-time. But Joel Cooper was alive to the situation, gets the ball to the byline, cuts it back, and it's brilliant defending from Stewart, and it had to be to keep his team in the game. So Linfield with a massive chance. Just 4 minutes into this second half. Cliftonville have just got to be very careful there. You know, they started the second half really well with just that little lapse in concentration. You know, and Linfield could have been 2-0 up easily. David Healy's won this competition twice. Actually stayed on the pitch for a couple of minutes
after the half-time whistle to make sure that Oran Casey was okay. Here's McGee, has Miller outside him. Fitzpatrick, so selfless in attack for Linfield. Leads the line really well. Stewart, squeeze it through to Hale. Just Ashford in the middle, advantage being played. Hale goes himself and McGee was able to scurry back and get his body in the way of Hale.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant play from Ethan McGee. He makes a run from about 40 yards away. He knows that the defender's 1v1 is at Hall. He's looking to get back in and help him. Does brilliantly well after Hale beats Hall, and you know, you see him, he's looking to get the crowd going there. Great enthusiasm, great desire to get back in and win the ball.
He has scored some incredible goals this season, Ronan Hale. A brilliant one against Coleraine, that 3-0 victory. Another stunner, the Oval as well against Glentoran. He is capable of magic. Doherty twisting and turning. Stewart wants it. Instead it's back to Pepper, giving the nod ahead of Chris Kern. Hale, good ball in, Ashford! It's one apiece in the showpiece. It's Sam Ashford, scored against Linfield 7 days ago in the league, strikes again in the cup. Listen to that roar. They haven't had much to cheer about in this game, but it's back to level pegging.
Yeah, it's a tremendous ball into the box again. It's Rory Hale again. He's the man for Cliftonville. What a ball into the box, and what a header from Ashford. Just gets across his man. There it is. Gets the header across the goalkeeper in front of the Cliftonville fans. What a moment for him. What a noise from the Cliftonville fans.
Two brilliant deliveries and fine headers have led to the 2 goals today. One for Cliftonville, one for Linfield, one for McGee, one for Ashford. Moments earlier, Linfield had an opportunity to double their advantage. Sean Stewart's brave defending, denying Kirk Miller. Then at the other end, Jim will jilt inside, find a way to level things up. It is a game fitting of the occasion and the crowd.
Yeah, it's been such a good game, Thomas, and it really is game on now. The atmosphere now from the Cliftonville fans got themselves back into this game, and you know, they've started the second half really brightly. Been really impressed with their start. But again, it was that moment of quality from Hale. He's the player for them. He's the guy they've got to get on the ball. He just finds that little bit of space on the turn, puts the ball into a great area, and Ashford attacks it really well. Fantastic goal.
Mulgrew wins a header. Addis to Ashford. Good composure to link up with Kernick. Ashford at times has been an option off the bench for Cliftonville. He's had to be very patient, but he's been given the big start and the big day, and that's a big goal. A moment he will always remember. Cliftonville have scored in all but 3 of their Irish Cup games since 2013. That run continues. And David Haley will have to wait a little bit longer for the 300th clean sheet of his tenure. Can Linfield hit back? They led from the 15th minute. Cooper. Little bit of confusion between Stewart and Hale, and it's hooked away by the captain. Ronan Hale picks it up. Fouled by Mulgrew. It's going to be another booking. It's probably a tackle that Mulgrew had to make because Linfield were struggling in behind after that Ronan Hale touch.
Yeah, Cliftonville had bodies breaking from midfield. Jamie Mulgrew, the tactical foul, we'll call that one, because it looks as if Hale's going to get away from him. He has support in numbers. It's an important one to give away in terms of, you know, stopping the counter-attack for Linfield, but obviously Jamie Mulgrew on a yellow card now. And Rory Hale, we mentioned his quality there with the delivery for the Ashford goal. He was back in the 6-yard box there, clearing the danger from the Linfield cross. He's been everywhere in this game.
I think it was David Jeffrey who mentioned that Linfield's big players have stepped up in the first half. You could argue that Rory Hale has led by example for Cliftonville throughout the game and has brought to another level since the break.
He has, and his energy and his enthusiasm, you know, it's just infectious, and I'm sure the other players in his team see him and they will respond off that.
That's what you want from your captain.
It is. It's a captain's performance so far. You know, the first 20 minutes, yes, the guys were spot on. Cliftonville were playing within themselves. Linfield started the game brilliantly, but they've come back into it, Cliftonville, and their key players, the Hale brothers, you know, they look more in the game and they're causing Linfield a lot more problems.
Both teams battling for the upper hand in this match. Sheets to McGee. Seems so long ago that he gave Linfield the lead. Laid on by the man in possession, Kirk Miller. Back to McGee and now McLean. McGee once more. His cross is blocked. Difficult one for the defenders to have to deal with. Asked too much of Hale, and Hall was able to get there first. All a little bit chaotic out there. Mulgrew, he certainly won't panic. Cooper has options outside it. McKee played in low and away by Patrick Burns. Good response from Linfield.
Yeah, it's good from Linfield. Patient in their build-up. Joel Cooper, what Joel Cooper does when he gets to the edge of the box, he draws 2 or 3 defenders out to him, which creates a space for other players, and McKee found space on the left-hand side. Wasn't a great delivery from McKee, easily cleared by Burns, but good response from Linfield.
We're approaching the hour mark. Back to Chris Shields, just Miller in the middle. Fitzpatrick's drifting in towards the penalty area. Jim Magilton wants his side to push up. They're getting deeper and deeper. Misplaced pass from Chris Shields. Aren't too many of them.
Yeah, it's just overhit from Chris Shields. Probably should just retain possession of the ball there in the middle of the field rather than forcing the longer pass.
Great energy from the two managers. Two people have achieved so much in the game, both on and off the pitch. It's not just about those two. They obviously have very experienced backroom teams alongside them. For Linfield, it's the likes of Ross Oliver, Terry Hayes and George McCartney. Cliftonville have Jared Little, Ricky McCann, who's been a real influence off the pitch and trying to keep players fit. Name checked by the likes of Rory Hale, Max Campbell, Brian Campbell, and the goalkeeping coach Rob Murdoch. Cooper to McKee. Back to Cooper again. Unable to thread it through to McLean. Cooper's gone down. Referee thought about playing advantage and then brings it back for the initial free kick.
Yeah, we see it here. Cooper, he just nicks the ball away from Ashford. He just comes in and catches him there on the ankle, gives away the free kick, but the game just opened up there. And, you know, Cliftonville, for the first time, there was 3 or 4 Cliftonville players ahead of the ball. They weren't able to get back in. You know, we're starting to see a few tired legs now. You know, coming up to an hour in this game, they've put so much into it. Both sets of players have tremendous energy.
I was about to say this is Kirk Miller territory, but it's actually Kyle McLean who fancies it instead. He told Miller to give him this chance. The player of the year can't beat the wall, but keeps the attack alive. Linfield throw-in. The match is simmering. Jared Little off camera having a chat with Jim Magilton, trying to plan out their next move.
Yeah, so the managers will possibly be just what I just touched on, you know, some tired legs starting to come about in the game. You know, will they be thinking about freshening things up, having played an hour in this game? Because, as I said, but both sets of players have put in so much energy into this game. It's been fascinating.
Ashford can't link up with Hale. McGee, as always, has Miller outside it. Tried to take a more direct route. Who got there first? It was Mulgrew who got there ahead of Hale. Who continues his run, and it's going to be another yellow. McGee, the goal scorer for Linfield, goes into the referee's notebook.
Yeah, the referee does well. He lets the first one go because Hale has the advantage, and then McGee comes back and makes sure he's not going to go anywhere. Again, another technical foul, we'll call it, from him. We've seen the one from Jamie Mulgrew earlier, which stops the Cliftonville attack.
Mentioned the fact that both Hale brothers have Cup winners' medals in their time at Crusaders, but neither of them played in the decider. Two proud North Belfast men. Their grandfather Danny was one of the greats for Crusaders. Addis, oh, so close. Everyone seemed to stop, and Johnny Addis got his head on it. It wasn't a particularly powerful effort, but it almost squeezed in. Scored in the semi-final.
Yeah, again, it's a really good delivery from Rory Hale again into a good area. He finds the space, gets away from Hall, but he just can't find the direction on the header. It's a difficult one for Johnny Addis. Slightly behind him, he's off balance, but it's a half chance. What a game this is now.
And Doherty full-blooded.
Yeah, just that tackle, just that challenge epitomised it. What a game we have in our hands now.
Both sets of players determined to end the day at a high. There's nothing quite like Cup final day. Pepper on his 30th birthday. A reminder that we will have extra time and penalties if required. Addis tries to switch direction.
Connor Pepper found a lot of space in the middle of the park. Now we saw Ben Hall coming right out to go up against Connor Pepper, and Joel Cooper was actually in the centre half position. So Cliftonville just trying to probe and trying to find those spaces.
Referee actually got in the way of Chris Shields as he tried to close down Ashford. Rory Hill's starting to play a bit further up the pitch and try and make those runs beyond his brother.
That was a decent little run there from Kearney. Just coming off the wing inside, and Johnny Addis almost found him with a good pass.
You look at the players on the bench, the likes of Christopher Kern, Stephen Mallon, Shea Gordon, Joe Gormley and Ben Wilson for Cliftonville. Jordan Stewart, Matthew Clark, Reesonette, Archer, Doherty and Graham for Linfield. aren't too many defenders there.
No, there's a lot of attacking players, and I'm sure we'll see some of them as this game goes on.
Doherty. Roland Hale wants to take on Shields, who was calm as ever and blocks a shot. Cliftonville in the ascendancy. They've been reinvigorated by the goal, but will be very wary that Linfield have had the better chances in this game overall. The flick from Rory Hill doesn't quite come off.
Shields is just clever there, just buys the foul, gets his team settled down again. There's a real urgency now about Cliftonville. We saw they won the throw in there, and they're looking to take things right away, keep the tempo high, and not allow Linfield to settle.
Finlayson receives it back, but is pushed back towards his own goal. Shields always an outlet. Goes back again to Johns. Very comfortable with the ball on his feet, though, the former Korean man. Miller. McKee wants it inside. Huge amounts of space on the far side for Cooper. Plenty in the middle. All it needed was a touch. I think it was an intended cross from Cooper. Looking for that little nick. And neither McKee or Fitzpatrick could get in the end of it.
Yeah, Cooper was adamant that it took a little touch, deflection. He was looking for the corner kick, but when he gets into that position, 1v1 against Kearney, he's so dangerous. The defender doesn't know if he's going to go left or right-hand side. He opts to go for left across the goal, which he's got every right to do, and it's just off target. But again, Cooper showing that threat.
You mentioned after that Cliftonville goal that their supporters came alive and increased the volume. Now in the stand that we're in, the Linfield fans are trying to do the same, trying to inspire their team.
Yeah, that little chance there from Cooper has sparked their fans into life again, let's just say. And you see here the tired legs of some of the Cliftonville players. Yeah, Stewart with a little bit of cramp.
Sean Stewart has had issues throughout the season. I think it's more a case of cramp now, but he has struggled with a couple of knocks, a long-term quad injury that he's been nursing throughout the campaign.
David Healy must be contemplating potential changes here now at this stage of the game as well. See there, it's a fair challenge. He just comes down a little bit awkwardly. Stewart, right away, he's just feeling that pain in the back of his leg. He's had a good game.
It does look more like cramp than anything else. Let's look at the two goals. 15 minutes in, Ethan McGee found a way past Odamusu. But then at the start of this second half, Ashford combining with Hale to level things up. And that's where we stand midway through this second half. The match delicately poised. Jim Magilton chatting with Jared Little, trying to figure out how they approach the remainder of this game. They've already been forced to make 2 substitutions after the really serious looking injury for Oren Casey, and the knock as well for Odamusu when he clattered into Joel Cooper. Looks like Stewart's okay. And Hall just brushes away the challenge of Ashford.
Yeah, Ashford worked hard up there. He's chased everything. He's had to work back on occasions as well. Cliftonville will be happy that Stewart's okay to continue. someone else who's had a really good game. And you think back to that block he made at the back post, which sort of kept Cliftonville in the game at that time, and they were able to then go up and get the equaliser.
There's a fear sometimes with cup finals that they're cagey, dull affairs when nobody wants to make a mistake. This one hasn't felt that way from the word go, Paul.
No, to be fair, Linfield started the game really aggressively on the front foot, took the game to Cliftonville, found themselves in front, and deservedly so. I thought they were excellent in the first 20 minutes. Cliftonville have thrown into it.
Chance over for Linfield. Miller in behind. This time it's Patrick Burns who gets in the way. Corner kick though coming up for Kirk Miller and Linfield. So much emphasis put on set pieces by David Healy. Everybody except Ronan Heal back for Cliftonville. Headed away at the near post by Ashford.
Yeah, it's a poor delivery from Joel Cooper. He'll know that. Doesn't beat the first man at the front post.
Might get another opportunity though, trying to link up with Kirk Miller, but the final touch was off the former Linfield player, Pepper.
Yeah, you see Pepper there. That's what we talk about, the energy that he has in the middle of the park. Tracking back there, winning the good tackle.
Stephen Mallon warming up for Cliftonville. Right now they've defending to do. Better delivery from Cooper. Well defended this time from Doherty, not the first time he's done that. And I wonder, isn't it, indication that Sean Stewart's afternoon's over?
Yeah, he's just signalled over there. Yeah,
it's going to be, I think it's going to be 3 substitutions and 3 and 4 substitutions. Very harsh on Sean Stewart, who's played really well. Mentioned that he has been carrying an injury in the build-up to this game. Benoit down, another 21 international on loan from Norwich City. Stephen Mallon, who's out of contract this summer, comes on in his place.
Yeah, Stephen Mallon will just play in the same position on this left-hand side. He's someone who's, I've seen him on a few occasions, a lot of skill, likes to take people on, but he's also got to put in that shift on the left-hand side. You know, he's going to be running back and forward, up and down this side, and working hard for his team.
Yeah, a little bit like Cooper for Linfield. Very much an attacking player who's going to be asked to fulfill a different role in the wing-back berth. Did play a number of games early in the season when Stewart was out, but no doubting his quality on the ball.
Super.
Playing in towards Hale. Who's he going to fall to? Ronan Hale hits it well, but struck it right down the throat of Johns.
Oof. Decent effort. Ball into the box again. It's cleared by Finlayson. Just falls for Hale, and he has to allow the ball time just to sit up properly for him. Gets the shot away, but it's straight at the goalkeeper.
He is the catalyst. He is the heartbeat of this Cliftonville side.
Yeah, and he started that attack for Cliftonville in the middle of the park. Shows composure on the turn, plays the ball wide, and then he continues his run forward and gets a shot on target. He's been superb.
Doherty looks for Ronan Hale. Rory has a go and it's blocked by Shields. Everything good for the team in red is coming from the number 8, Rory Hale. Less than 20 minutes to go. It's a game that is flowing back. Ashford beaten to it by Finlayson, who's been so commanding in the air. Addis to Hale, who almost seems to be shadowed now by McGee. Pepper can't find a way past McLean, who positioned himself brilliantly.
Yeah, I think Connor Pepper, he's in there, he's worked really hard, likes to win tackles. It just on the ball, I just think he's got to show a bit more quality on the ball in those areas there. We'll give him the benefit of the doubt. He hasn't played a lot this season, but he's gone in there and done a good job for Cliftonville today.
Actually won the club's Player of the Month over the last couple of weeks, and in many ways he's been the player who Jim Magilton this season has brought on just to make sure things lay it on and just keep things ticking over. Big moment coming up in the career of the Linfield number 64, Braden Graham. He's about to come on in a cup final at just 16 years old. Such an exciting talent. Josh Archer also will be introduced for Linfield, having battled back from injury. He picked up in the semi-final against Glentoran. As we await this free kick.
I just wonder if McGee being on the booking, you know, he's up against Hale. I wonder if Josh Archer will come on and maybe try and contain Rory Hale, who's having more of an influence.
Mulgrew shifted across to Miller. Mulgrew's targets to aim at in the middle. Back with the skipper again. Flags up. We're going to have that substitution. Braden Graham won't break the record for the youngest player in a cup final. Robbie Weir started when he was a month younger for Larne back in 2006 against Portadown. He replaces Chris McKee. He joined Everton in the summer. Linfield's youngest ever player. He's been at the club a long time, and he combines his studies at La Salle with a place in the IFA Academy. And Jamie Mulgrew's cup final is also over. Linfield's leader is replaced by Archer.
Yeah, Jamie's missed the last couple of weeks with an injury, and it will be a big bonus for Linfield to have him back in the starting lineup. But you know, perhaps he just wasn't up to finishing the game after that injury. But you know, he had a superb first half in this game, and you know, showed his real qualities for Linfield.
A ninth final for Mulgrew. Will it be an 8th winner's medal? We're going into the last quarter of an hour, and we still don't know. There's Braden Graham. Made his first start a couple of weeks ago in the potential league decider against Larne. That shows you what David Healy thinks of him. He's been very honest in saying that he feels he has the quality to go on and represent Northern Ireland at senior level.
Yeah, and some people, you know, maybe expected young Braden Graham to start today. David Healy going with Chris McKee, but big opportunity now for the young lad.
Brilliant play from Cooper. Graham can't quite get there. Credit the guard side, he's scurried out of his goal.
See right away, but when Cooper, it's great play from Cooper, a little nutmeg, and it's a lovely little run from Braden Graham. The ball's just too heavy for him, but he's looking to play on the shoulder and get him behind right away.
I don't think the Cliftonville centre defenders would have been too excited by his arrival on the scene, given his pace and given his fearlessness in many ways. Scored bucketloads of goals for the Linfield Swift side. 33 in just 23 games, and Jim Magilton wants just that little bit more from his side. With over 10 minutes to go, David Healy looks calm as ever. Will there be late drama in this cup final? Sheets with the armband on now. Finlayson. Miller. Little flick doesn't come off. Instead, Mallon gets in the way. Pepper under pressure. Which tells. Miller. Well defended this time by Kenny, the substitute. Mallon picks it up. Guess who, but Heal's outside him. Kearney gets up ahead of Hall, got away from it. It's going to be another yellow for Linfield and Hall. David Healy's side exposed at the back, and again, it's another example of a challenge that Hall had to make. He had to get there. Was willing to sacrifice it for the team as well.
He was committed to the challenge. Ben Hall, Cliftonville were away. They break quickly in numbers again. Hale in the thick of it.
Played in by the captain. In the last 10 minutes. Doherty comes very deep and finds Burns. Little touch from Kearney. Heel wins a free kick. And confirmation of the official attendance. It's 14,898. A massive crowd, the biggest since 1979. And we all know what happened that year. It's been a huge operation for Andy Johnson and his colleagues at the Irish Football Association to deal with numbers like that. Hale can't link up with a teammate. Mala. Can he? Not this time, but manages to do the next best thing and win a corner kick.
Yeah, his touch was just a little bit heavy there, Mallon. If he takes a better touch there, could be closer to goal, maybe a chance to pick someone out. But I think it's McGee gets back in and does really well defensively again for Linfield.
Ross Oliver racing off his seat to make sure everyone's being picked up at the back for Linfield. 8 minutes to go towards the near post. Who's going to get there? It was Fitzpatrick who managed to clear right in his own goal line. Everybody missed it. Wasn't the best of corner kicks, but it almost found a way through. Nervous times with this Irish Cup final, still very much in the melting pot.
Again, it was a wicked delivery, wasn't it? And just evaded everybody at the front post, but no one anticipated it coming to the back, and Linfield got away with it. We see it again here. Just comes through all the bodies, and it's thrown in Hale. He's trying to adjust his body, but in the end, I think it's a good clearance. Yeah, it's a good clearance from Fitzpatrick, isn't it?
Cliftonville would take a goal in any shape or manner. Linfield the same. Doesn't matter the quality of the strike at this stage. It's all about trying to win the Irish Cup. Hale can't control it under pressure from Shields. Doherty. His influence increasing as this game goes on. Kearney. Archer gets in the way. Mallon with defending to do. And he mops things up at the back, even though McLean felt it was a free kick initially. That's a question that David Healy's also asking. I wonder, it's a yellow for Pepper, and the free kick is given. I think it was because it was so loud in the stadium, nobody could actually hear the whistle.
Yeah, Pepper just has a little nibble at him again there, and you know, he's got away with a few fouls before that one. Referee gives him the yellow on this occasion. Nervous last few minutes ahead, Thomas. You know, no one wants to make a mistake at this stage of the game. It's evenly poised. But can there be a hero?
Yeah, a goal here would certainly Write your name into the history books. You would expect Cooper. Lunges in, and it's going to be another decision for the referee to make. It's another yellow, this time for Linfield and Cooper.
I think his touch just gets away with him, and he just comes in from the side against Doherty. Yeah, it's just a scissor tackle. He comes in from the side, fouls him, and the ref's always going to give him a yellow for that one.
It's the 8th yellow of the game. 5 for Linfield, 3 for Cliftonville.
I think he's just frustrated with himself there, Joel.
Into the last 5. Ashford got that equaliser at the start of the second half. Miller plays it back to Jones. Pepper. Rory Hill. Kearney. Drifts over the head of Shields and cleared by Cooper, but it's straight to a Cliftonville player in Kenny. Graham. Surrounded by Cliftonville players. Now it's Jim Mitchelton trying to get play underway quickly. Cliftonville trying to make a change. Addis. Lovely touch from Mallon. Ashford goes down. The referee shakes his head and says no penalty then. As you would expect, gives a free kick seconds later as a frustrated and tired Ashford throws himself in the way of Ben Hall, and I think he may well be replaced. Double substitution coming up for Cliftonville.
Yeah, Hall does well. It's a lovely little flick around the corner from Mallon, but Hall does really well to get his body in the way, and as you mentioned there, it could be the last piece of action for Ashford, who's worked tirelessly up there for Cliftonville today. Got the equalising goal as well. If that's to be his last piece, which it is, he's put in a tremendous shift.
Yeah, so it's Pepper and Ashford coming off. Wilson and Chris Curran coming on. And it says a lot about Cliftonville's number 7, who's about to enter the fray. He hasn't spoken about it at all in the build-up to this game, but it is his 440th and last match for the club. He's a club captain. He's moving to America after this game. He didn't want to take any of the pre-match publicity away from his teammates and make it about him. Very well respected amongst the league, Chris Curran.
Yeah, tremendous professional. He's given great service to Cliftonville. And if this is his last game, he'll certainly want to go out on a high.
He's one of the survivors from the side that won the league title. 2 minutes to go. McGee's going to go long. Fitzpatrick at that near post. Could fall for Cooper.
What a tackle.
Who else but Rory Hill gets in the way. It was falling to Joel Cooper right on the edge of the penalty area. But Hill got there nice. Trying to kickstart another attack. All eyes will be on the 4th official. Are we set for extra time? Or will there be late drama? We've had plenty of it in the Irish Cup in recent seasons. Linfield go on the attack. McGee, who scored their goal in this cup final. Linfield led for much of this game before Ashford's header pinned them back. Hill. Dispossessed by Hall. Picked up by Rory Hill. Cliftonville have numbers forward here. Wilson shifts it outside to Kearney. 4-5 in the middle. Into the last 30 seconds of normal time. Well defended though by Linfield.
I thought Kearney had to deliver the ball first time there. It was set up lovely for him just to put the early cross in.
And it just gave Linfield that opportunity to get bodies back, which in the end told.
Yes, it really did. You know, and again, that's probably just a little bit of inexperience from a young player, but you know, he probably should have delivered that first time.
4 minutes out of time. Cliftonville with a throw-in on the far side. Linfield trying to make a change themselves. Everybody inside the stadium is looking at their watch.
Yeah, I think possibly Stephen Craigan might have said it in the build-up that he fancied it might have been a close game and it might go all the way, and so far it's looking that way. Such a close contest. Both players giving everything, and it's been an excellent advert for Irish League.
It looks like we're going to get another half hour at least out of it. Guard side. Doherty gets away from Shields. 3 in the middle. Rory Hales trying to get in there too. Good play from Archer to push Doherty away from goal. Hale does brilliantly. Finds Patrick Burns. One-on-one with Braden Graham, and the teenager does really well. And an unfamiliar part of the pitch for him. Again, he's brave as he doesn't shirk the challenge against Alice. Patrick Burns on his right foot. Easily stopped by Johns. Linfield still trying to make that substitution.
Oh, bit frenetic there the last few moments. Thomas, decent effort from Paddy Burns coming forward from his defensive position. Comfortable save from the goalkeeper.
He gets his head on. McLean. Can Linfield find one more chance? Miller. Cross is half blocked, and listen to the roar. We've played 2 minutes of the allotted 4. Linfield notorious for their late goals under David Healy. Headed away though at the near post by Cliftonville's top scorer, Ronan Hale.
Great header.
Everybody's digging deep. Everybody has given everything to try and get their team over the line. And the goal scorer for Linfield now coming off to be replaced by Matthew Clark. Another player with over 400 appearances in his testimonial season. A lot of speculation it could be his final appearance for the club. He has served so well. Another model professional. Another player highly respected throughout the league. He too, like Chris Curran, will be looking perhaps for the perfect swan song to a glittering career. Jamie Robinson has a little glance at his watch. We've played almost all of the 4 allotted minutes, and we are heading for extra time in the 2024 Irish Cup final. After 90 minutes, it is Cliftonville 0, Cliftonville 1, Linfield 1.
Stephen Cregan, David Jeffrey have been watching an exhilarating Irish Cup final. I don't know about you, but it's nice just to be able to draw breath for a minute before hopefully another half hour of this entertaining game.
Not just us, I can imagine the players will be desperate to draw breath. It's been pulsating. It took a little while to ignite, but once it's ignited, it's been absolutely brilliant to watch. I said at half-time, compelling viewing. Do you know what? Both sides deserve to go to extra time. No one deserved to lose in normal time. So now it's about mental toughness. When you think the body's tired, you think the legs are heavy, can you convince yourself mentally that there's half an hour to go? You know the prizes at the end. The prizes, out there, you can see it sitting, the silverware. You've got to dig deep. You've got to dig deep into your reserves and take yourself to places that you possibly don't think you can get to. And that's what it's going to boil down to. Who has the energy and the desire, the willingness to go that extra bit and dig deep to the reserves to get themselves a trophy win? It's been brilliant.
Different class from Cliftonville in the second half. You sometimes wonder where were they in the first half, because over the piece I thought they were the much more dominant side and certainly deserved to be on equal terms. For the game itself, I think it's been absolutely fabulous. What a treat. At times we're much maligned here in Irish League football, but they have put on such an incredible performance. And totally agree with you, Stephen. No team deserved to be beaten in the 90 minutes. This is fitting, because over the piece, Linfield with a better side in the first half. Over the piece, Cliftonville with a better side in the second half. It's now ideally poised, and I'm hoping that it will be a piece of brilliance rather than a mistake that wins this game, because you don't want to be, when you've gone through this amount of work, when you've given so much physically, emotionally and mentally, you don't want to be scarred by a misplaced pass or a known goal or something daft. I just hope that the final is satisfied or finished with a piece of brilliance.
I'm not too sure how much the manager's words mean at this moment. You can see David and Jim, and that's probably their nervous energy trying to get that onto the players. As a player, you're just thinking about legs, energy, freshness. What's at the end for me? You're almost looking after yourself at this point, and David's just trying to look after his players. He's trying to cajole them and motivate and just give them that little spike that may just inspire someone.
Having been in that situation when there's an extra time, you're quite right, Stephen, because no matter what you're saying, you're looking at the players and you're trying to sort of see, is anybody taking any of this in?
A hollow look.
And experience then quickly taught me, don't say too much. Keep your mouth shut, David. Let the players just take a deep breath and get themselves prepared and ready again, because there's nothing more that you can say at this point.
Well, the fans, a full house at Windsor Park, have been enjoying what has been a cracking cup final. We hope all of you watching at home and right across the UK on the BBC iPlayer have been enjoying the best of the local game in Northern Ireland. We have got extra time with the possibility of penalties to come as Cliftonville and Linfield battle it out for the honours of the Irish Cup. Back to our commentary team, Paul Lehman and Thomas Kane.
Cliftonville and Linfield haven't been separated so far. Linfield playing their 51st match of the season, a 47th for Cliftonville. Linfield have already claimed the League Cup here a few months ago, but they're going to have to dig deep with at least 30 minutes more. If the guys in the studio were looking to get a chance to draw their breath, how do you feel? How do you think it's been for us?
Yeah, there's hardly been a break in the game, and credit to the players. They've put so much into this game, the energy, the intensity, the tempo of the game. It just hasn't lulled at all throughout the 90 minutes, and I'm sure there's some tired legs out there, but as the guy said, the prize is in sight, and who can get over the line.
No changes for either side after the 90. After that flurry of substitutions towards the end of the match. Braden Graham, one of those changes. Finds Finlayson. Another player who I think is out of contract at the end of this season. Wilson looks for Heel. Can Cliftonville create a chance early in extra time? Oh! He scored some screamers this season. Add that one to the list. It could be the most significant of all. Ronan Hill with his 7th of this cup run.
What a finish. Unbelievable finish from Ronan Hill. Linfield were careless, and I think it was Finlayson with a tired pass in the middle of the park. But as soon as the ball's turned over, he's on his bike. He's looking to run into the channel. We'll see it here. He makes that run into the channel. Hall's tracking him. You know, he's always looking to get it back in onto his stronger right foot. He does that, but what a finish from him. Once he finds that yard of space away from the defender, he's got the coolness, the composure to put the ball into the far corner away from Chris Jones. What a fantastic goal that is from Hill.
Goal number 21 of the season. Hit a hat-trick against Coleraine. 2 against Loughgall. And a late goal to secure Cliftonville's spot in this decider. We're very early in injury time and extra time, but it's put Cliftonville in the lead. Linfield have plenty of time though to come back. Shields. Match is going to be stopped momentarily because there's a flare on the pitch.
Unbelievable moment that from Hill. You know, that if it ends up being the winner, what a goal to win a cup final. Fantastic piece of quality from him.
And he has put in the hard yards, not just tonight but throughout the season. It's been a little bit of a tireless job for him. This afternoon has been starved of opportunities like that.
Yeah, and you mentioned the start of the season Wilson had made for Cliftonville, but Jim Wilson was stuck with Hill. He knows the quality that he has. He's the player for moments like that. You know, his brother for me has been the best player on the pitch, but that there's been the best moment of this game. What a fantastic goal that was.
Graham. Linfield have a free kick in the far side, having to come from behind in this cup final. They took the lead early on through Ethan McGee, but goals from Ashford and Ronan Hill have the North Belfast club 2-1 ahead early in extra time. Finlayson nods it down. Who's it going to fall to? It was almost Matthew Clark. So dangerous from set pieces throughout the afternoon.
Yeah. Again, it's Kurt Miller with the delivery, this time to the back post. And Finlayson, who's always a threat in those situations, he's just looking to get it back down across the goal. And I think there's a little touch on the ball there from someone that maybe took it away from the oncoming Linfield player.
The Poznan at Windsor Park. The backs might be turned, but they won't want to take their eyes off this game for a minute. They have that slender advantage through Ronan Hill's stunning goal. McLean to Archer. Linfield won't panic. They've got too much experience in their squad. Shields to Archer. David Healy's side patient in their build-up. Graham not afraid to run at the Cliftonville backline. You need to make sure they don't start to get too deep. There's still a lot of this cup final remaining. A little bit unconventional from Chris Shields. Cooper. Clark plays it in. Easy take for the goalkeeper.
Yeah, it's poor delivery from Matthew Clark there. Easy one for the goalkeeper. He's got to try and find a bit more quality on the delivery there. It looks like Linfield are going to make another change with Jordan Stewart.
He's won this competition twice, once with Glentoran in 2015, then he was an unused sub with Linfield in 2021. For someone who's been so prolific, Jordan Stewart has never scored a goal in the Irish Cup.
Never in the Irish Cup.
Never in the Irish Cup. He will be desperate to end that run. Scored last week. It was his first goal in almost 2 years in the 1-1 draw with Cliftonville in the league. He's had an awful time with injuries, but Linfield's number 10 enters a fray, and they need him.
Yeah, again, he's one of those players that has that little creative spark, that little burst of pace and trickery, and Linfield were hoping that he can impact this game in the time that remains.
Mallon. Midway through this first period of extra time. Stewart. Cooper. Miller. So dangerous on that right-hand side. This time, though, the final touch was off the experienced midfielder.
That's great defending from Mallon. Miller's looking to take him on, get that cross into the box, which we know he loves to do. Mallon stays with him all the way, and he gets that little bit of fortune when the ball ricochets back off Kurt Miller.
David Healy, he's experienced success and also defeat in Irish Cup final day. How do you approach the remainder of this game if you're Cliftonville? Because you're in the lead, there are a lot of tired legs out there, but you can't sit too deep and try and see this one out because there's too much quality in the opposition.
Yeah, that's exactly it. They don't want to sit too deep and invite the pressure onto themselves, because Linfield have now got a lot of attacking players on the pitch, and you know they could sit deep at their peril here.
Clark to McLean. Graham.
I think it's fair.
Goal kick.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say, you know, obviously with getting that goal ahead, Cliftonville, they have found that extra little bit of energy, and they are defending the situations well. And, you know, it's up to Linfield now to find something else, to find that moment to try and break them down here.
What a difference a goal can make. It's those supporters who are now dreaming. They feel that they're within touching distance, but there's a long way to go. Jim Magilton will know that. Linfield will know that. Hall, commanding header to find Fitzpatrick. Free kick is given again. I think the referee was just seeing how play developed and had a little think about it. Graham. Cross to Cooper. Archer.
Yeah, and that won't help Linfield. You know, they're trying to build a little bit of momentum here, and trying to put Cliftonville under pressure. That just eases the pressure right off them, allows them to get further up the pitch. Waste a few more seconds. You know, it's got to be better from Linfield there.
We've spoken a lot about this occasion. It's not too often a football match that an Oscar winner walks behind you. James Martin has just made his way behind us. Obviously had that success at the awards ceremony. Who will be collecting silverware in half an hour's time here at Windsor Park. No statuettes being given out today, but a famous trophy and some cherished medals as well. Matthew Clark already has a couple himself.
Good run.
Here's Braden Graham. Touch took it away from Kenny, but Addis was able to recover and help out his fellow centre half who's hurt himself. Cooper. 3 around him, wins a free kick, and Joel Cooper's really stood up when Linfield have needed him.
Yeah, he's the one now with the changes that Linfield have made. You know, he's getting a free roll now, and he's starting to pick up a lot of second balls. And you know, Cliftonville, they've got to get as close to him as possible. He's the one that is the danger for Linfield. He's the one that can create something in this extra time. He's had a super game as well, Cooper.
Winner with Glenavon, winner with Linfield. Archer to Miller, just hugging that sideline. McLean managing to avoid the challenge of 2 Cliftonville players. There could well be gaps at the other end though. Wilson taking on Shields. Just Hale inside, it's missed by Hall, but Hale's forced away from goal. Took a deflection and into the side netting. Linfield having to take risks at the back. Almost made the pay.
Yeah, they're taking risks at the back, but they've given the ball away again in the middle of the pitch carelessly. And then Cliftonville are able to break. This time Hale decides to go on his left-hand side, try and go to the near post of the goalkeeper. The deflection takes it wide, but it gets Cliftonville back up the pitch. Corner kick, chance to put a delivery in on top of Linfield. Keeps them under pressure.
And they're taking their time over it. They're waiting for players to make their way into the penalty area.
Yes, and that will be key for them too. That will be the message coming from the bench. You know, kill the time if you can. Manage the game as best you can. And, you know, look for those little opportunities, as you say, Thomas, because Linfield have to take the risks.
Game management, something that's drummed into players now. There are objects on the edge of the pitch that have been thrown in towards the 6-yard box. Hale hits it far too long, and it's going to drift out of play on the far side. Hale starting to struggle a little bit, but he won't want to come off.
No, I'd love to see the stats, his running stats for this game, because he hasn't stopped. He's been superb.
Fitzpatrick, his first season with the club, unable to lift that into the danger area. He's given everything, Fitzpatrick.
Yeah, he's worked hard up there, obviously with Chris McKee and the large parts of the game, and now young Braden Graham, but Fitzpatrick's worked tirelessly up there. He probably hasn't had a lot to feed off and hasn't had many opportunities. He continues to work hard.
In double figures for goals this season, but it's a lot of the work that he does off the ball, and in terms of his hold-up play, there's what David Healy wants from him. Yeah. Jim Magilton, what an impact, what a season, his debut season in the Irish League. Cooper does well to evade the challenge of a couple of Cliftonville players. Final few seconds of the first period of extra time. Cooper. Fitzpatrick seemed to get away from Doherty, but Kenny recovers. 2 minutes of added time in the first period of extra time. I think a lot of that probably has to do with the celebrations for that Hale goal, as Doherty, the tired limb of Doherty, gives away the free kick, and Cliftonville players around the ball. Linfield trying to take it quickly themselves. Shields. Fitzpatrick has support. McLean couldn't generate enough power. Seemed to take an age to fall onto that right foot.
Yeah, again, it's good play. The build-up from Linfield. It's a lovely little piece of play from Matt Fitzpatrick, who we just mentioned earlier. McLean coming in on the edge of the box, and as you said, Thomas, he just can't get enough on it to trouble the goalkeeper. Comfortable save for Gartside.
Over the head of Wilson. Clark got there first, then followed up by Shields. Wilson. And Mallon, two of the substitutes. Cliftonville have had 3 players forced off through injury during this game. Trying to hold on to it for the final few seconds of this first period of extra time. They've kept it in Linfield territory.
Yeah, they've done well so far. They're managing it well, having gone ahead. They've been defensively solid. They've still managed to find that energy. You know, I look at Rory Hill and Doherty in the middle of the park, the amount of energy they've gone through today, and you know, they're going to need more in this next 15 minutes because you expect Linfield are going to throw everything at them now.
We have played the 2 minutes allotted of injury time. Rory Hill's goal has put Cliftonville 15 minutes away from a first Irish Cup in 45 years. It's Cliftonville 2, Linfield 1, a quarter of an hour remaining.
Stephen Cregan, David Jeffrey, a moment of magic has handed Cliftonville the advantage.
I did say that I would hope that whoever goes on to win the Irish Cup, that it is won with a piece of brilliance. And my goodness gracious me, was that a strike of such quality. Here we just see the ball given away needlessly and cheaply by Linfield. They will regret that. Stands the centre back up, comes inside. 1, 2, third. What a strike. Absolutely outstanding.
And he's got that ability. You look at Ronan Hale's career, even from a young player in youth football across the water of Birmingham, he always scored goals. He was a natural goal scorer. I think when the game's opened up, it's given him more space to go and do his work. I think when it's tight and compact, he doesn't overly like the physicality of defenders, but when the space is presented to him and defenders are backing off into their own 18-yard box, he's in control. He was in control of that situation, just moving it. Ben Hall couldn't touch him. It was a potential of a penalty. So, yeah, I mean, it's a moment of brilliance, but David Healy will hope that one of his players can come up and match that.
He was prepared to take responsibility, Stephen. That's the big thing. You know, we said, you know, you need your big players on big days like this to stand up and be counted, and he certainly did that.
15 minutes for David Healy's Linfield to take this final to penalties. More to come. What do you think?
I think Linfield will absolutely throw everything at them. Since scoring that goal, Cliftonville defensively, as the boys said in commentary, have been very, very sound. They've managed the game well. They've kept the ball well. So Linfield are going to have to do something special if they're to get back into this game.
Okay, here we go. 15 more minutes of extra time. Cliftonville leading by 2-1. Paul and Thomas.
Thank you, Stephen. The way this game has panned out so far, you almost expect there to be more drama. It's a final that is not disappointed. Reese-Annette has been introduced for Matthew Fitzpatrick for Linfield, another attacking player. David Healy's side are going for it. They have to go for it.
Yeah, what they have up, they've got real pace up front. It's a different proposition for the Cliftonville defenders. Reese-Annette and Braden Graham, you know, outstanding pace. And they'll be looking to get those guys into the spaces.
There's been a ruthless element to this cup final. Not a huge amount of chances, but when both sides have managed to get in a position to threaten, they've certainly done so. No more so than the Ronan Hale goal in extra time. A stunner from the striker. Now it's up to Linfield to try and hit back. Miller. Shea Gordon, the midfielder who joined from Larne in January, is about to come on for Cliftonville. There will be a lot of weary legs out there, but nobody will want to come off. Cliftonville still trying to make the substitution, but can't. Hall. Stewart. 5 in the middle for Linfield. Miller's at the back post. Good defending from Stephen Mallon. It had to be good defending.
Yeah, it's an important header. Ball to the back post, and Mallon, not for the first occasion, has to defend well.
Linfield piling on the pressure. Can they find an equaliser? Another dangerous ball in. Chance for Joel Cooper again. Braden Graham lurking. And hooked clear by Doherty. I think that Rory Hale's afternoon is over, and you mentioned the sheer work rate of the Cliftonville captain.
It's been superb.
He's going to be replaced by Gordon. He's on his knees right now.
Yeah, I watched him in that last attack from Linfield, and Kyle McLean had 5 yards on him. He simply just couldn't get back alongside him. He's put so much into this game, and you know, he's actually, for me, he dragged his team back into this game after the first 20 minutes when Linfield dominated. He started to show that composure, took the game by the scruff of the neck, and he's been absolutely outstanding today for his team, and he'll be hoping that they can hold on for the win.
In his own words, this is a holy grail for Cliftonville. He spoke about the importance of this competition for the club, for North Belfast, for the wider Cliftonville fan base. He's given everything, and that is a weary player who makes his way across. He gets a high five from the management team. No question that he has been the standout performer, and as things stand right now, his brother could well have been the man who scored the all-important winner, but Linfield will have other ideas. They've got 11 and a half minutes to find a goal. Graham deflected, and that's underneath it. Who's going to get the touch? There was a foul in there according to the referee.
Yeah, I think Paddy Burns does really well again. He's been superb as well in this game. He's won a lot of important headers. You know, look at here, he gets his body in the way. Doesn't know an awful lot about it, but he's had a solid game for Cliftonville as well today.
Joined, having had a spell with Notre Dame in America, playing college soccer in the NCAA in the States. Archer does really well to get it away from Gordon. Shields to Stewart. Seems to take it in his stride. Good strength as he almost managed to out-muscle Johnny Addis. More and more players feeling the effects of the pace of this game. Stewart, Kearney, Stewart again. Just too high. Well, we know exactly what he's capable of.
Yeah, again, the ball just falls. He takes a nice first touch. He's looking to just cut across the ball, but it's high, wide, and handsome from Jordan Stewart. He'll be disappointed he hasn't worked the goalkeeper there.
29 now, Jordan Stewart. Almost 200 games for Linfield. Yellow card for the Gart side for taking a little bit too long over the goal kick. Wilson. He's looked really tidy as an outlet since coming on. Linked up with Hale for that goal.
Looked like it was the other way, that decision.
No protest though from the Linfield players, but certainly from our vantage point it seemed that way. Probably the ironic cheers from the Cliftonville supporters probably would suggest we were in the right area as Cliftonville win the corner kick.
Yeah, good play again from Wilson. Wins the corner. You know, takes the sting out of the game. Obviously, Linfield looking to do everything as quick as possible, get the ball forward as quick as possible. This doesn't allow them to do that, kill some more time. Game management again from Cliftonville.
Just 2 in the box, and that says it all about where we're at in this encounter. More back for Cliftonville than forward. Shea Gordon thought he'd won the throw-in on the far side, doesn't quite manage it. It's been a long, hard season for both sets of players. They fought all the way in the league, but it was Lauren who came out on top. Linfield won the League Cup. Cliftonville have one hand on the Irish Cup.
See there the foul from young Braden Graham. He's not looking at the ball. He's jumped into Johnny Addis, and again Johnny just killing a few more seconds, taking the pace out of the game, allowing his team to get back up the pitch.
I think David Hayes just making sure that every single second is added on in a situation like that. There is a nervousness around Windsor Park. Cliftonville fans who were celebrating since that Ronan Hale goal now starting to maybe realise that that 45-year wait could well be coming to an end. Linfield will hope to inspire their team though to an equaliser. We haven't had penalties since the 2007 final when Linfield were victorious against Dungannon Swifts. Another player down. Shea Kearney, and it's very obviously cramped, and that's understandable at this stage.
Yeah, again, someone who's put in so much energy in this game in that wing-back position. Another solid game from young Kearney. Just hurt himself in making that tackle, overstretched. David Healy just hoping for a moment from one of his players now. An individual moment. Can someone create something to get Linfield level again?
Shields almost gives it away. Archer to Miller. Everybody's forward in the blue of Linfield. They need a goal. Oh, it's almost a brilliant pass from Cooper, and it's 2-on-2. Wilson can't find Hale. Hale's still in the middle, but there's no real support other than that, so instead it's back to Doherty. Now it's Cliftonville's turn to give it away. Doherty's down. Linfield not happy. They feel that every single time they have an opportunity from a set piece, they're having to wait and let Cliftonville reset. I think the point that Jimmy Robbins is making is that Doherty does look to be in distress, and I think his afternoon's over. He's actually gestured across to the bench to say, "I can't go on." It's obviously cramp. He's trying to get over it, but
Linfield are just frustrated because it stops the flow of the game. They need the game to continue to flow, and they're trying to create, these little moments of, as you say, allow Clifton to get back into their shape, and they've managed it well so far. But you always expect with Linfield, will they get one more big moment in this game?
Well, the faces say it all. Can Linfield find a goal? Doherty's made his way off. It's been very difficult to actually keep up with the substitutions. I'm not sure that Cliftonville actually have any more change to make. So they're saying Mr. Doherty, you have to stay on. It's the last game of the season. Just stay out there and try and see it out. 5 minutes plus, you would expect a considerable portion of injury time to go. Miller, guard side, came for it. The Linfield player, I think it's McLean, was trying to get at the near post. He then clattered into the upright himself and has hurt himself. Hopefully he's okay. But he wasn't far away from making contact with that Miller cross.
Yeah, he's really brave there, Kyle McLean. You know, he has to take a chance, has to go in there. Almost collides with the goalkeeper, and then he actually does collide with the post. Decent delivery in from Kirk Miller again. Goalkeeper does well at the second attempt just to hold on to the ball.
Two and a half minutes to go in extra time. There's going to be more added on. Heels down. Linfield get it back and play quickly though. They took the lead in this Irish Cup final through Ethan McGee. Ashford for Cliftonville equalised just after the break, and then in extra time, Ronan Hale's brilliant individual strike has put Cliftonville in this situation.
So unlike Chris Shields there, he's normally so confident in possession of the ball. The loose pass from him again allows Cliftonville to kill the time.
And that's just fatigue at this stage.
Yeah, it is. You know, it's hard to be critical of these players, both sets of players. What they've put into this game has been unbelievable. The guy said it, you know, it's a shame there has to be a loser. You know, for that fact, the players have put so much into it.
McLean still dogged as ever. Wins it for his side. Miller, good delivery. Matthew Clark gets her. Away by Kenny. Still not away, and Mallon lashes it clear. Shields. Another one to deal with for that Cliftonville backline. Miller again. Who's going to get there? Cooper takes it down, goes down, wins a free kick.
Yeah, it's a foul from Chris Curran. He knows Cooper's trying to shape it up onto his left foot for the shot. He just commits himself.
Huge moment coming up for Linfield. Is this the moment? Linfield need a goal. Can Miller deliver? Just couldn't keep it down.
Yeah, he's looking to just get it up and over the wall. Kirk Miller can't keep it on target.
5 added minutes.
The atmosphere in here is just unbelievable.
Given that Cliftonville are so close to the finish line, all of a sudden their fans are starting to get nervy. Once the board went up for 5 minutes, Linfield fans were buoyed.
You can see Jared Little there. Young Mallon was looking to take that throw in, and Jared Little said, "Take your time."
We're going to start talking about the potential player of the match in a moment, but we won't break away from play. Swept towards the near side, and Miller. He keeps it in play. Cooper. Every Linfield player, apart from Johns, is inside the Cliftonville half. Hall has stayed up. Decent ball in, didn't make its way as far as Graham, cut out by Addis. Wilson, heels up ahead, but he looks to be injured. Heel, flag stays down. Blocked by Archer, and here come Linfield. That would have ended it. That would have sealed the cup for Cliftonville. Cooper. Still 3 minutes of injury time to go. Archer overhits it. Paul, who's your player of the match?
Yeah, for me, it's Rory Hale from Cliftonville. I thought he was superb throughout. The energy that he showed, he really dragged his team back into this game. You know, he assisted the first goal, and you know, the moments of quality in this game for Cliftonville all came from Rory Hale. I know he had to go off with the cramp, but for me, he was the outstanding individual on the park, closely followed by Doherty, his teammate.
Congratulations to Rory Hale. You can see him there, hoping, praying for the final whistle. He was a player who started the game with a captain's armband, handed over to the club captain, Chris Curran. You would expect it. It'll be a joint cup lift for them. If it happens, there's still time for Linfield, but it's running out rapidly. Everybody's up. Chris Johns is going to go up for it. Miller again at the back post. Again, it's Mallon who gets in the way. Jones is going to make his way into the middle for this corner kick. Is this a final chance? Just over a minute of injury time, of extra time to go. Shields heads it goalwards. Gartside comes for it. Does just enough. Cooper, Jones is still up. In it comes. Who's going to get there? McLean. Still McLean. Brave block. Oh. Clifton are going to win it. Ronan Hill, uncontested, is going to walk it in. Oh. The wheel is over. Cliftonville have ended 45 years of hurt. They have won the 2024 Irish Cup. Now you can celebrate Jim the Jilton. Linfield committed players forward. That included their goalkeeper. 2 in extra time for Hale. 3 for Cliftonville. The Red Army can finally celebrate victory in this famous competition once again.
What a moment in this cup final. Linfield pushing everybody forward. We see Chris Johns there, and Ronan Hale finds himself in acres of space. He's celebrating 45 yards from goal. He's got his hands in the air in front of his own fans. Unbelievable moment. Unbelievable day for Cliftonville. They've waited so long.
A day to savour for the Hale brothers. Rory, man of the match, is going to lift the trophy. Jim the Jilton, it's his birthday on Monday. His former club Ipswich have just gone up into the Premier League, and in his first season in charge, he's led Cliftonville to the promised land. David Healy, you can see the disappointment in his face. His side have given everything. They were pushing and pushing for that equaliser. It didn't happen. And it is Cliftonville's day, Cliftonville's cup final. Cliftonville's trophy once again. From 1979 to 2004, they've waited 45 years. But thanks to Ronan Hale's extra time goals, they will have their name on that famous trophy again. A cup final that will be remembered for years to come, Paul.
Yeah, fantastic. Congratulations to Cliftonville. You know, they've waited so long. I met Marty Quinn on the way into the stadium today, and he was along with 10 of the other members who played in 1979. So it's a special day for those guys who created their own history back then. And, you know, these players today have created history, and, you know, congratulations to them. Commiserations to Linfield. Linfield put so much into that game. But for me, on the balance, overall, the whole game in the extra time, I thought Cliftonville just shaded. They had the better moments of quality. Ronan Hale coming up with that real class goal to make it 2-1. And then that moment at the end is something I'm sure he and the fans will never forget.
I didn't mention in commentary because the players haven't mentioned it, but there are a couple of babies that are overdue in the Cliftonville side. Joe Gormley had a child a couple of weeks ago, but there are a couple of the players, one whose wife actually was brought in to go into labour today, another one whose due date was today. I'll let the players themselves talk about that potentially post-match, but this is a moment on the pitch that they will never forget, a moment off the pitch that those fans won't either. 4 times they've come to the cup final, 4 times they've lost the decider since 1979. But this was to be their year, their moment, a red and white day in front of a full house at Windsor Park. Those fans believed, and they are going to enjoy every single minute. Credit to Linfield. They give everything, but they came up just short. It is Magilton's day. It is Cliftonville's day. The final score in this cup final. Cliftonville 3, Linfield 1.
Stephen, Craig and David Jeffrey, what a day for Jim Magilton. What an occasion for Cliftonville, but what a cracking cup final.
It was a tremendous match, absolutely outstanding. Both sides playing massive parts in the game. As I say, Linfield gave so much, worked so hard, created, you know, chances. But you've got to say, on the day, Cliftonville did that little bit more. Linfield didn't do enough. And in the strike from Ronan Hale, we said we wanted something spectacular if it was going to lead to the winning of the trophy. Not a mistake by someone, not an error. And my goodness gracious me, what a fabulous strike. And this man here, what a touch of class for Jim Magilton. Much maligned prior to him going to the job, and yet, you know, look what he has done. And the lovely touch, which we only just saw briefly on camera, how he took the time to go round and commiserate with Linfield players. That is different class, different gravy.
Well, I think our 2 pundits in the studio may have given the man of the match to the double goal scorer, Ronan Hale, but the man of the match is his brother, Rory Hale, and he's talking to Nicola McCarthy.
Rory, congratulations. The 45-year wait is over. The Irish Cup's going back to Solitude.
Yeah, brilliant. Amazing day. Amazing performance. Fair play to every single player. That was some shift.
You've talked about what this means for the players, the fans, and the club as a whole, the community. Rory?
Yeah, look at that for a crowded day, and I think, even though I come off a cramp there, but that extra signing there, the push, it gives the boys an extra 10%. We were chopping like flies in extra time there, but you could just see the crowd getting us rallied up again, and outstanding. What a match it was, Rory. What an occasion to be involved in. Linfield didn't make it easy. No, and you know that's why they're up there with the best teams in the country. I always say at the start of the season, if you finish above Linfield, you'll win the league. They're the team that they get at, so we knew it was going to be a tough game. Underdogs, but no, we knew there was going to be a good game plan from Jim, and it paid off. On a personal note, you are our man of the match today. You were everywhere today. Oh, that's my game. If it wasn't everywhere, then you would know there was something up with me. So, no, I knew I had to put in a hell of a shift first. That's my game, and then the quality on the ball comes second. And your brother, of course, with the winner. What a goal it was. Brilliant. I thought he would have picked me the man of the match. I thought he was outstanding. He led the lane brilliantly. Won his flick-ons, held it up well. And then his goal for the second was just That's what he does. Out of nothing, he can bring that down and put that in the top bins.
Your manager, Jim Magilton, his first year in charge, winning the Irish Cup, what has he brought to this side, Rory?
Listen, we've had great years under Paddy. I think just a bit of belief. Jim's come in the league with fresh ideas, fresh stuff, and he doesn't care who we play against, and I love it because I'm similar. And he doesn't care who we play against. We're going to go out and have a go, and if it means we get tanked, we get tanked, but we're going out to play football and we're going out to have a go.
I'm sure there'll be some party tonight, Rory. Thank you so much. Congratulations. Back to you, Stephen.
Thank you.
Someday for the Hale family and for this man, Jim Magilton, who, let's not forget, when he took this job, the Cliftonville fans vilified him. They didn't want him. He's gone from villain to hero today.
It's just a reminder to some football supporters, be careful what you wish for. And I mean that towards Jim, but I also mean it from Linfield fans towards David Healy. But the Cliftonville fans, you're right, didn't want Jim. He lost some key players in the summer. David touched on it earlier on. The likes of Luke Turner. Ryan Curran hasn't played all season. Young Sean Moore went across. Levi Ives went. Chris Gallagher went eventually. So when you're cutting players away, the feeling might have been from a lot of other clubs that the standard may drop. They may not be challenging, may not be getting or pushing for cup finals, but Jim, through his recruitment, through his man management skills, through his people skills, his knowledge of the game, and yes, and we know he's loud and brass and he's great company, but he knows football inside out, and I think that's shown since he's went to the club. Cliftonville have really been on an upward trajectory. So yes, the players deserve credit, but he deserves credit because, let's be honest, it was a ballsy decision to go to Cliftonville after Paddy McLaughlin because Paddy had done a really good job, and many thought that everything had been squeezed out of that squad and they couldn't go any further. Today shows you be careful what you wish for because he deserves all the credit, and I'm delighted for him this afternoon.
Joe Gormley didn't get on the field today, but he's decided he's going to join in the party, and why not? Because what a servant he's been for Cliftonville. And you can see Jim on the sidelines today just what Joe Gormley was doing to try and motivate his side.
That is a sign of a true, proper clubman. That yes, there's always that the part of you where it's about self-interest and what about me, but today for Joe, it's not about him, it's about his club, it's about his teammates. And while he mightn't have been active on the pitch, what he was doing off it in terms of encouragement and and backing his manager, that speaks volumes, of Joe. And he thoroughly deserves this.
And a word on Linfield, David, because obviously it takes two teams to tango.
It takes two teams.
To
listen, Linfield started like an absolute house on fire. They were really impressive, and Cliftonville were on the ropes. Possibly during that period of domination, could they've got a second? As the first half wore off, Cliftonville came back into it. Second half, Cliftonville really started like a house on fire and scored a remarkable goal. And after that, there was no team that really dominated. Quite rightly, it went to extra time. And then we had just a piece of absolute magic, and that obviously there's the third goal, but it's the second goal which absolutely kills the game. The Linfield players can take a great deal of pride in terms of the performance. They give absolutely everything. David himself will know that they give him absolutely everything on the day. What they gave, Cliftonville just gave a little bit more.
Okay, well, let's hear from the man who scored 2 goals today. He's talking to Nicola.
Ronan, huge congratulations. You've scored some fantastic goals this season, but very important ones today.
Yeah, I don't mind about the goals. I said today, I didn't mind if I didn't score. It was to win that cup, and boy, did we do it the hard way, and well, can't wait to celebrate it.
It was a difficult game. You kind of limped towards me there. It took every ounce of all of your players today.
Yeah, we knew that was what it was going to take. Linfield are a great side, and they put us up to it, but I feel just this year there was a buzz, and we knew this was going to be the year, and just wasn't.
We've just been speaking to Rory as well. Very special to celebrate this cup win alongside your brother, and I'm sure the whole family are here today. Yep,
everyone's in the stand over there. I just brought my daughter on the picture. But it's amazing. We're me and Rory's boyhood fans here of Cliftonville. We went to every game back in the day, and now we're playing for it, win the Irish Cup, and it's unbelievable.
I know you say you didn't care about the goals, but talk us through the first one.
Yeah, no, I was very frustrated. I hadn't had a chance all game, and I felt when I came onto my right foot, there was no stopping it. I knew what I wanted to do, and I executed it.
And to the second goal, what a strike!
Yeah, Ben done magnificent, and it was a long run up there, and I just had to put it in closer to the time because I didn't know if my legs were going to hold up, but we're buzzing.
It's been a long wait for this trophy. I know you've won it before. You didn't play that game with Crusaders, but how special is this for you today?
That was a case of third time lucky. I lost it against Linfield 2021 with Lauren, and obviously I didn't play in the 101 with Crusaders, so I feel this is third time lucky, and you know, I've done all the hard work, and I think I deserve to have my hands on the trophy.
Just finally, big week for you. You have another baby on the way, I believe.
Yeah, massive week. My second daughter's going to be born hopefully next week. Just avoided today, thankfully. Now we can go out and celebrate, and then celebrate next week when the baby comes.
Absolutely, congratulations. Thank you. Good luck with everything. Thank you. Cheers, Ronan.
I enjoyed the way he celebrated the goal before he tapped it into the back of the net.
I think he actually celebrated when he picked the ball up in his own half,
yeah.
And he realised he had an open goal. But it was interesting he said there that he didn't think his legs were going to take him. Believe me, if he's got an open goal and there's no one anywhere near, and he's got the Cliftonville fans behind, they would have dragged that ball into the net. But I think it just shows the maturity in his game. That the fact that he'd said he hadn't got a chance all game. And I think a younger Ronan Hale would have been impatient and frustrated and fallen out with himself, whereas he waited and his moment to come along, and he said when he picked the ball up, he knew he was in a position of strength, he knew what he wanted to do with the ball, always get onto his right foot, and there's no doubt he's always been a top-class finisher, and there's no bigger stage than a National Cup final to deliver it.
David, you've enjoyed many Irish Cup successes and many days like this, and as we've seen in many of these fabulous pictures, it's now about a family occasion as well.
It
very
much is so, you know, Stephen. I don't think you fully appreciate what players and managers and coaches and volunteers and committee men all commit, you know, to their individual clubs, you know, and it's the family who are on the receiving end. Like you know, I can think of many weekends when, you know, if we hadn't won the game, or even if we hadn't played well, then it just affected your mood, and there's no point saying otherwise. And who takes the brunt of it? Well, those who are nearest and dearest. So this is a most appropriate time for the nearest and dearest, for those who mean so much to enjoy and be a part of this. And they are very much a part of this victory as the players that took the pitch.
And here is the man of the match, Rory Hale, receiving his bottle of champagne. I don't think that'll last too long. I'm sure his brother will be having a word with him why he didn't get the man of the match, but nice to share, to be fair.
Well, to be fair, I think Rory said it himself. I'm surprised to get it because I thought my brother would have got it. And we're not digging out Paul Lehman, but we are.
Yes, we are, Paul. We are. And Thomas.
And we know he's listening.
Let's not let Thomas off the hook either. Go ahead there, Stephen.
No, it's like, listen, I have to say I thought the referee was fine today. Sometimes these occasions people can criticise and they can look for a reason why they didn't win and try and blame somewhere. I thought the officials were absolutely fine, and the game was played in great spirit.
Referee did remarkably well in that we didn't even have to mention him. I think maybe once or twice we questioned the odd decision, but over the piece, you know, Jamie has done very well. I think he not just did he officiate the game, he officiated the occasion, and he got it right.
There was so much made of this game beforehand because of the rivalry, because these two teams hadn't met in 90 years. Because of the size of the crowd here, that people worried about what the atmosphere and the occasion would be like. But barring one or two little things, some flares today, it's been played in a good spirit and a wonderful advert, mostly for Irish League football.
Listen, Stephen, there was going to be aspects of societal life that was going to be on display here today, whether it was singing of songs, whether it was, you know, pyrotechnics or flares. There was going to be a number of things that were going to happen. So there was no point, you know, jumping up and down. You just knew, but it's been managed tremendously well. Great credit has got to go to the IFA. Credit has got to go to the folks who are looking after security. What was pleasing for me, that anyone who's tried to get in the pitch have been booed, and they've been quickly gathered up and put back in the stands. So you know, I'll say this. I said a prayer, and I just asked that today would go off peacefully, that football would be the winner. And thankfully thus far that has been the case.
Well, disappointing season for David Healy by his own standards. He'll be disappointed not to have won the Cup today or the League Championship, but he'll be back bigger and better next year, no doubt. And this is the moment that all Cliftonville fans have been waiting 45 years on, to get their hands on probably the most famous piece of silverware in the local game, the Irish Cup. And we can go back to Paul and Thomas for the presentation.
Yes, disappointment etched across the faces of the Linfield players. A very different emotion for that man, Jim Magilton. His first season in charge, he's managed to lead Cliftonville to the promised land, the competition that they've wanted to win so much for almost half a century. Many of those players have experienced the burden of trying to follow up 1979. Many managers too. Midgilton has been able to lead them to this moment. And what a moment it is for these players, one that they will remember for the rest of their careers. Young Shea Kearney, what a season he's had, having broken into the team. Paul Lehman is very much sticking by his player of the match, who's about to receive his medal in Rory Hale.
Yeah, to be fair, his brother hadn't scored the second goal when it picked him, but I just thought he was outstanding overall, his overall contribution, as was his brother. But, you know, you just say, Thomas, special moments for these players now receiving their medals.
Hale got the goals, Hale got the honour, and the final two players to make their way up are two that now have every single medal in local football. Joe Gormley, and the player I mentioned a little bit earlier, playing his final game for the club before himself and his partner Cara moved to America, Chris Kern. Cliftonville have waited almost half a century for this moment. 45 years of hurt over. They are the 2024 Irish Cup champions. It's a red day. That famous trophy is going back to Solitude, and the party can well and truly start for those players who have given so much. What a way to sign off for Chris Curran alongside Joe Gormley, the two longest standing members of the playing staff at the club. Special moments for them and for the supporters who've endured that hurt with them. They came from behind. It took extra time, but that will have made it even more sweet, Paul.
Yeah, you know, the game itself, Linfield started the game really well, first 20 minutes, but Cliftonville slowly got their way back into it and found the equaliser, and then it became a really even contest after that. And you know, the second goal, the moment the magic from Ronan Hale was just a piece of class, and then obviously at the end Linfield were throwing caution to the wind and got caught, you know, with the third goal. But you know, overall, I just thought Cliftonville put so much into this, and you know, it was today. It turned out to be their day, and you know, these are special moments. They have to enjoy every moment of this because you just never know when your next one is.
Tears in the eyes of Chris Kern. He signs off in style. Cliftonville have won the Irish Cup once again, Stephen.
Well, special celebrations for Cliftonville Football Club. I don't know about you, but I'm really looking forward to hearing from their winning manager, Jim Midgilton, and we've got him now. And let's go over to Nicola.
Thank you, Stephen. Jim, huge congratulations. History made today. The Irish Cup's going to Solitude.
It really is, and you talk about effort, you talk about pride, you talk about determination against all the odds, if you like. Goalkeeper, centre half, two people that have been unbelievable for us this season. Then we had to really dig in, you go behind, but what can you say about a group of players that have just done so much today? It's just unbelievable, immensely proud.
Sure you are. The character, the grit shown. It was not an easy game. It was a great game, Jim.
Well, I'm glad it was. It didn't feel like a great game to me, I have to be honest, but I have to, you know, add that David Healy was magnanimous in defeat. The players were all, it's so tough to lose a final, but they were so gracious, and I appreciate that. But listen, the day belongs to us, and the day belongs to the fans and the players. It's just monumental.
I spoke to you before the game about your team selection. You get plenty of options, but Ashford and Hale, that paid off for you up front.
Yeah, well, we needed them today, funny enough. But yeah, listen, we have real, obviously, threats coming off the bench. We haven't had that for all of the season, but today we did. And to do what we did and the manner in which we did it was it's just crazy.
And a word on the goal scorers. You know, Ronan Hale with a fantastic effort to make it two. Obviously, the third was probably icing on the cake, was it?
Yeah, well, listen, when the third goes in, you're sigh of relief because it's such an emotional roller coaster. and this is what this game brings. And obviously we're going to celebrate in the long hours, and we're going to milk it for all it's worth.
Could you have imagined, Jim, when you took over at this club, you'd be winning an Irish Cup in one season?
No, but if you know me as a character and as an individual, I am very determined. I'm very ambitious. I knew the group of players could deliver, and they have just been so good. And I can't thank my staff enough: Jared Little, Ricky McCann, Rob Murdy, Gary Crosby, Brian Campbell, Weegee, the Doc, everybody. They've just been unbelievable, and an unbelievable group of players. So it's been an absolute pleasure.
I'm sure there'll be some party, Jim. I think it's your birthday coming up as well. I'm sure you'll enjoy 55.
Well, now you've put a dampener on it. Thanks very much. Oh, yeah. It'll be a week long.
Congratulations, Jim. Thank you very much. Back to you, Stephen.
If you're looking for Jim Magilton over the next week or so, his telephone will firmly be off.
Do you know what? I can almost sense a bit of emotion from Jim.
Yeah.
And I've known him years. You've probably known him longer than me, and David the same. But I don't think I've ever heard him talk as passionately as he did there about his players and the pride, because a lot of people may have thought Jim would have been above Irish League football because he'd played across the water, he'd managed to cross the water, that he wouldn't come down. But he said it there, he believed in the group of players. And you also have to credit to the Cliftonville board, because I think he may have turned him down first time, or it didn't go through. But they came back for more, so they thought there was something there for Jim. And it's days like today that make it all worthwhile. We spoke about it previously with Lauren, with the sacrifices you make for training, for commitment. You dedicate yourself because there's a chance of being successful and creating memories that will last a lifetime. And that's what these players have done. The next stage for Jim, which will be further down the line, he'll want this to become a regular occurrence, not just getting to the odd final.
And of course, briefly, David, European football to look forward to with some money to spend. You never
European
know.
football, and as I say, most importantly is the finance that it brings with it. And for the part-time clubs, it's imperative that if they're to continue to challenge with the full-time clubs, then they need those monies that you get from qualifying in Europe.
Well, we have lots more sport to look forward to right across BBC Sport NI over the next week or so. Our final game of the season is on Monday night as Crusaders and Coleraine battle it out for European football in that NIFL Euro playoff final. Then we have a full week of motorcycling, starting with the Cookstown 100 coverage on BBC One on Tuesday night, and then live and exclusive coverage of the Northwest 200 all of next week. The practice and qualifying sessions are live on Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, with lots of television highlights to follow. And then we have got the Ulster Championship final live on Sunday the 12th on BBC Two. Stephen, David, thank you very much indeed. Hale is the hero. We are out of time, and Cliftonville are going to party like it's 1979. From all of us here, it's bye-bye.